reefs that I found that like I've never seen anybody fish on the bay.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
We are just going to cut straight to the main camera because the audio there isn't working. I knew I made a screw up somewhere. Nope, we're good. What up, everybody?
Hello.
It's Seabass with the Old Bass Media Radio, joined by the typical, always with us, Paul Batters. And we have very special guest tonight. We're super hyped about it. Mr. Tyler Hawthorn's in the house.
How's it going,
brother?
Doing well.
With right there in the top corner, UMA Crankbaits, UMA Lure Company.
That's right.
So, dude, thanks for joining
the
us.
creator.
To be here, man. Like I said, I've been trying to find a way to like ask myself to come on here, but I didn't want to impose.
There's never
anytime you want to come on.
You tell us when you're coming on the show. That's how that works.
Yeah. I just got to time it to where like Tony's on, and then I come after Tony.
I know for a fact that Tony's actually bummed that he can't be on the show.
I'm upset too.
Yeah.
Actually. I was looking forward to seeing him.
Shoot, anytime you have a new crank, you come up with a new crankbait, and you want to add
yeah,
that a
we'll
little
drop
bit.
it on here, dude. I do that all the time. I got something special today too for you guys, so
Sweet.
We are.
So
it hasn't been. Only a couple people know about it.
Okay.
So
it's not coming out of the box on camera.
No, we can't. I want to.
Oh, we can do it.
Yeah, I want to do it.
Oh, we can do it. Oh, hallelujah!
Yes. I got a new model out, and I wanted to like drop it publicly here with you guys.
Is it
Go.
Is it the one I tested for you?
No.
That one's already.
That one's fairly already.
It's kind of already.
Yeah.
I saw you had some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cheesing right now.
Yeah, I'm excited.
When Tyler gives you a crankbait to test, and your first reply back to him was, "We need 10 of these."
Like yesterday. Oh my goodness gracious.
That was crazy. That was a good bait.
Dude, I made that, and I was like, because you see all these guys make basically down like 8-9 feet,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, dang, like none of my shit really goes that deep, because I don't know, I kind of build stuff to cater our region,
Right.
And we don't really have a lot of time where we're fishing that deep, so, besides the fall and the winter and early spring. So never really found a need to build something like that, and I was like, well, what the heck, we'll just throw something together and give it to some people to try out. So
I definitely found it was my first success with it was in my club tournament in November, and I was fishing an area and I was throwing the skinny shad, and I was like, I'm only hitting, I'm only touching the rocks, and as soon as it comes off the ledge, it's not touching the bottom anymore. And I'm like, hold on a second. Pull out a prototype crankbait and catch 2 3.5 pounders in like 4 casts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. My buddy Ken Berry was on the back of my boat, and he was like,
"What's that?
What is that?" and then I wedged it in a rock.
Yeah.
And I'm blasting my trolling motor into the fucking. I'm banging my Ultrex into the rocks to get this thing
Wow,
back.
you just said, "Hey, Ty, I need a couple more of these."
Because I still had like 2 hours to fish today. Yeah, it was good.
That's funny. That is funny. The bait that he is actually talking about, I have one in front of us. It is here. I actually brought 2 for you guys because I know you had mentioned that you wanted one.
Oh yeah.
So that is the
Pale Rider.
Yes, in the Paul Batters Pale Rider. It's the deep wedge. This is a bait that dives roughly 7 to 9 feet. You can get it probably less on what pound test were you throwing?
So I could get it on a long cast. I could get it to on a really long cast when I was up on Conowingo. I could get it to just barely touch 9 feet.
Okay.
On 12 pound.
On 12 pound. Okay. Okay.
If you were in it on, I think I could get it to. I've thrown it on 14, and it didn't really affect the depth that much.
Okay.
I think you could probably, if you were in it on. Scott says we have a bad echo.
I'm trying to figure that out right now.
It's usually the camera.
That's what I'm looking at, because I have another one for Tyler over there that I plugged in. So I'm making sure that it's system input. Should be road.
What's up, snails?
How about I do this? Maybe this will fix it.
How's it sound now? Is that better?
How's that?
What's up, Dan?
Hey, Dan. Hey, snails.
Hey, what's up, snails?
I
Yeah,
actually met Mr. Dice.
Yeah.
There we
Last
go.
weekend.
All right, we're good.
Mr. Scott with GRT Jigs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I brought some today because I kind of brought up some stuff that I throw that's not a crankbait. I
Oh.
wanted to share.
I didn't know you threw anything other
I
than
know,
crankbait.
I know, but I do throw a swim jig a lot, and I saw his swim jigs, and I wanted to pick one up.
He draws me in a tournament. We go out in the middle of a milfoil patch and always turn as a crankbait and kicking my ass.
We were catching him though that day. Dude.
We did catch him that day. We caught a lot of fish
in a crowd too, which
Yeah.
there was a lot of boats around us, and we were catching them.
I caught all my fish on topwater that day.
You did.
Yeah.
You didn't put it down. You were dedicated to it.
I caught
remember.
everything on a spook. Everything was on a spook and a buzzbait.
Yes. Yes.
And Tyler's throwing a crankbait behind me, and just like I'm catching like 2.5 pounders, and Tyler's catching 4s.
We were doubling up though quite a bit.
We did. That was a good day. Well, it ended up being a good day.
Well, we're already jumping to that point already.
Well, it just kind of came up. You
Yeah.
brought it up. So I've actually told this story a couple of times on here, but Tyler drew me in an ABA one day, and the water was pretty.
Poor Tyler.
It was rough.
It was.
I mean, it was real rough. So we're doing 35 miles an hour across the top end of the flats, and we crest a wave, and I look down, and there's like a 12-foot log just in front of us.
Yeah.
And I swerved to miss it, and there must have been another 5 feet of it underwater, and it caught my lower unit, threw my cowling into Tyler's head.
Yeah, the boat stopped.
I mean,
the boat's
dead
stopped. The cowling popped off. Luckily, it just glanced me.
I was
Like,
wondering
it
how
glanced-
you got hit in the head when you were going forward.
I don't.
Yeah.
Glance is a little bit of an understatement
Okay.
because it bounced off his head, hit my console, and busted like 3 of my gauges.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Well, there must have been some.
So like my
impact.
tack got my tack got. I had to replace my tack. I had to replace my trim gauge, and then it ended up on my front deck.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So I'm freaking out because I look over and there's blood pouring out of Tyler's head, and I'm like
It's
freaking.
not funny,
I'm like
but it's
freaking
funny
out.
now.
it's funny now.
And like I run up and I grab my first aid kit, aid kit out, and Tyler's like, I'm okay, man, I'm okay. And he's like, just give me some stuff to clean my head up. I'm like, no, dude, we gotta get you back. We gotta call 911. He's like, dude, let's just go fishing.
Yeah, we're already here. Like, let's
He's
just
like,
go.
can you get a boat started?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Well, let's find out.
Well, I will say my first thing. I remember like folding over on the side of the boat about to throw up because all I could see was stars at the moment,
Oh,
and like
Straight up concussed.
yeah, probably. But that was day 1, so we had to go back out day 2. But it was a different draw, but we went back out and fished again. But me and Paul both had a good day the first day, so I'm glad that we went out and fished.
I caught the exact same weight both days.
Me too, dude. How
Exact-
weird is that?
exact
How weird
same
is
weight.
that? Like I was right outside the cut both times.
Me too. I was 2 spots out of the money both days. I caught the exact same weight both days. 15. It was 15 pounds 2 ounces,
That's strange.
or 15.28, or it was something like it. But it was exactly the same both days.
Scott recommends not killing your opponents.
Don't kill the opponent with engine parts. He was a co-angler. He wasn't even an opponent.
Oh man, Kenny Lewis is on. Kenny Lewis. I met Kenny Lewis. He bought some baits from me. He's from South Carolina, and I want to give him a shout out, man. We communicate a lot, and just an all around great guy, and big Bolsa UMA fan. So shout out to you, Kenny. His under his wife's Facebook, Linda Lewis.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right on.
They're
Right on.
like, wait, Kenny, where?
Yeah, I know, right? I was trying to look. I was like, does he see something I don't?
And my mother's on here too. She says, "Go Tyler."
Awesome.
Tyler's
No, it's good.
famous.
Yeah, yeah.
It's on TV.
So yeah, that ended up being it ended up being a good couple of days. I mean, I caught a lot of fish. I caught a lot of fish on the second day too. Started out really slow on the second day. Got
was.
really mad.
It was dead. It was calm. It was real calm that day.
I lost like 4 fish on a frog the second day, and it just like made me insanely angry. And then like I went back over to the spot that we fished, and close to that spot. And for some reason, like I'd been throwing a Senko all day because my co-angler had caught some on a Senko.
Sure.
And he was throwing green pumpkin. And first, the pack of green pumpkin generals that I had ran out. So I was like, I'll just grab these June bugs. Dude, I just hammered them for like the next hour.
Yeah. Just that switch of color.
Yeah. I mean, I was catching them almost every cast.
Dang. I hate throwing a Senko.
I do too, but
sometimes you have to though, right?
So the crazy part was when I called my last fish, like when we had to leave, I had to balance beam every fish, and I didn't call that fish. Every fish was the same weight until I got to the last fish, and I called the last fish. So the 5 fish that I weighed in were all exactly the same weight.
Really?
Like they were all level on the balance beam.
That is strange.
It was crazy.
That is
because I balance beamed that fish with the other, the first 4 fish in my live well, and it was dead even.
Yeah.
And then the last one, it was it was like a quarter to a half pound call. So all 5 of my fish that were in my live well were exactly the same weight.
That's wild.
They were all exactly exactly 3 pounds. I just over 15 pounds. And they were all like exactly 3 pounds. It was such a crazy day. Like I just could not get a big bite. I tried to get Frank to come in where I was.
Yeah, because
hey, what's up, Little John?
He had caught like a 5.5.
Oh, what's up, Clint? Thanks for joining us.
First thing in the morning on a frog.
Okay.
And like he came over in the same area, and I was like, dude, just come in here.
Yeah.
Like they're stacked in here, and he's like, no. He's like, go ahead and fish. You're like, I'll just go down there. And I'm like, dude, like I'm pretty confident I don't have a chance of catching a check.
Hey, Robbie.
But these 3-pounders are gonna help you. He's like, no, I'll go down there. He missed a check by 1 spot. I was like, I told you to come in here.
Yeah.
I think he won longer though, so that helps.
We got Clint Clayton in the house. We got Robbie in the house.
Clint?
Little John's in the house. Guys, please hit that like and that share button. Spam click the like button. You don't just have to hit it once. You can hit it a bunch of times, and that actually helps our broadcast, our network out so much more. So spam click that stuff if you really like what we're doing. Let's get some more people in here and have a better conversation.
So, just in case anybody missed it.
And in case anybody missed it, there is some...
the Skinny Shad Deep.
Paul's hand is...
That's the deep wedge.
Deep wedge?
Yep.
So this is the deep wedge in the Paul Batter's Pale Rider.
Yeah, Paul's hand is actually on fire right now.
Yes, it's burning. It's burning me right now. That's how hot this bait is.
Oh man,
you have no idea.
If you buy a bait, like if you want a 7 to 9 foot diving crankbait, this
a
thing
7 to 9 foot hammer.
I caught a lot of fish on this fall.
I'll tell you something. With this model, I was a bit concerned because everything I make is kind of small, and I was concerned about, man, is this too cumbersome? Is it too heavy? Is it too big?
No,
but I guess it's perfect.
It casts like a dream.
Yeah.
I had no problem casting into the wind on Conowingo with it. I mean, I was throwing it dead into the wind with no issues. It casts great. It gets down relatively quick. Not as quick as some baits, but for a balsa bait, it gets down pretty quick. And you can really you can get it down to that 7 to 8 foot range within 4 or 5 cranks, and then it just kind of stays there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was kind of explaining to you guys earlier about the deflection with this specific bait. I've found that the longer bill in that material, that circuit board material, it has some flex to it, right? So when you're getting that deflection, especially on colder water fish, cooler water, it's not as aggressive. It's a softer deflection. It just kind of it's not off. It won't go way out of trail. It'll kind of just bounce around and come back in. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a key, especially on colder fish, right? They're not
colder fish, pressured fish.
Yeah, anything like that. You get more bites that way.
It's a natural deflection.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It doesn't look so abrupt.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah. I'm picturing it in my mind now.
Yeah.
And I'm just I can totally see just something that's not as abrupt.
You see a lot of baits when you're banging it. You get a lot of baits that when they hit, they fly way out of trail.
They'll flip over themselves.
They'll go out like this.
They'll flip over themselves.
They'll go out like this, and then they'll come back like a wiggle worm.
Yeah, exactly. Which has its time and place. I mean, obviously it's a great bait, but I think that there's not a ton where you're cranking. You can even speed crank with it, and it's not gonna like blow out off the rocks. Like,
Yeah,
it'll stay like here in track. So, I think that's something a little bit unique about that bait specifically. But
yeah, it's definitely a very very good
it's
creation.
approved. I like it.
It is Paul Batters approved.
I like it. I like it. Well,
I don't know if you thought I was kidding when I said we want 10 of them.
No,
But
we will.
Like,
Yeah,
wait.
I'll have to get my.
Frank wants he's like
You might not make it to the expo tomorrow.
on the plus side.
We might sell some on the show
That's
here.
what I'm saying. Like,
If you have any more of them, Frank will be down there. So
Okay, perfect. I'll keep
He'll
one
buy
aside
some from
for
you.
you. Yeah.
Frank will definitely buy some from you.
I can probably think of freaking 10 to 12 sales off the top of my head right now before you even leave my house.
Perfect. I like it. Well, before we dive in, I'm kind of itching to like get this to show you guys.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is a new bait for the year.
You guys are about to see it.
It's a new
I
bait
already
for
see
the
what it
year.
is.
Yeah. It's a baby 1- style bait. Okay.
So like that just barely subsurface.
Yeah, and you can get it down to 2 feet on some lighter line, but 12, 14, you're getting like a foot less than that. And the cool thing about this is the first one of the ones that I made, but it has a rattle in it.
No way.
Yes.
Tyler, are you going to be at the MR Bass show?
Yes, I'll be at the MR Bass show.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
So this is the first one with a rattle in it that I make. It's a subtle rattle, but it's a
I
baby
like it.
1-. So,
Can I see it?
yeah, absolutely.
No.
Oh,
And here, this one's. I mean, you guys. These are for you guys. So
I do love me a baby 1-.
it's I mean, it's similar to the little
And
pudge.
these are still balsa wood?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is this one's coming home with me.
Yeah.
I like that little. There's a
little char-
little
yeah,
chartreuse
char
on
in
there.
there.
A little bit of chartreuse on there.
So
Oh,
this is the new.
snap.
That's new to this year. I'll have some. I got to give some out to some people to try, but they will be available on the website probably around March.
I will.
I'm guessing.
I mean, I will
throw the shit out of this.
I will thoroughly test this out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thoroughly.
And
very,
it's
very
it's similar to a baby one in a sense where it's like a lazy.
Yep.
Pull. It's not like a thump 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 thump. It's like a thump thump thump. It's
Yep.
softer.
This is cool.
So yeah, you guys give them a test. And I got a couple other people that I got to give some to try out, but they are they'll be available sometime. I'm planning around March, but
Yeah,
that's the game plan.
it'll
So
probably
for you
be
guys.
when I get to in that late March, early April when the grass starts to come up. We'll put it to work.
Perfect.
This is
Perfect.
going to be ridiculous. Oh, yeah. I love this. I love this already. I haven't even thrown it yet. Because this is a style of crankbait that I just like to throw in general
Yeah.
from other brands.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a subsurface
Yeah, you were
wake
showing me all
style
your
type
weight baits
bait.
downstairs.
It
Yeah.
just, I really enjoy this. And there's a couple of things in my arsenal that are JDM that are somewhat similar to this.
Scott wants a close up.
Hey, Hope's my girlfriend. They got the kids watching.
Hold up.
Don't stay up too late, guys.
Show this crawl pattern too. Is that foiled?
Yes. Yeah.
God, the foiled patterns are always great.
So here's the crawl pattern. It's a nice little crawl pattern, like that.
So, Scott, these weigh about, I'm going to say around 3/8 of an
It
ounce.
feels about
Yeah.
3/8. I feel like that rattle in there kind of gives it a little extra weight.
And that I got to figure out, like the rattling is new to me. So I'm still figuring out how to make a consistent sound. Some of them get duller than others just through when we seal the bait and everything like that. So it's, I gotta iron out some wrinkles, but this is the design, the final design. So
We should be able to cast it on our conventional stuff without going to a spinning.
Oh yeah.
Oh
For
yeah,
you.
absolutely.
That'll cast. This will cast.
I don't
awesome.
think I
Probably
have.
like 3/8 or something like.
I don't think I have any baits that really. That was one thing when I started making baits. Like I don't
Balsa
like,
wood is light.
but it is light, and there's certain things that I found during the building process that come into play, and we can talk about that later. But I was one thing when I started design, I was like, I hate cranking with a spinning rod.
Yep.
I hate it. Like even with the blitz, the little blitz, the detour ones, like I have to throw it on a spinning rod, and it sucks. So when I build baits,
That's some juice right there.
yeah, it is some juice right there. But I don't like to I don't like to crank on spinning rods. So that's when I build the baits, I'm trying to keep that in mind where it's had to be heavy enough, and I got to throw it on. The cast.
Me and Ron Steersworth fished a tournament on the Upper Bay in December, and we caught pretty much every fish on shad wrap with spinning rod. Dude,
Yeah.
my hand hurt so bad at the end of it. I don't know what it is. Like I can crank with
You good, man?
I can crank with a bait caster all day.
Yeah.
Cranking with a spinning rod, my forearm was cramping up.
Yeah.
It's just such
It's
a weird.
terrible.
I guess it's just like
Yeah.
a weird
It's
weird
not
position.
ergonomic, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's weird.
It was terrible.
Chad
I mean,
doesn't throw anything
but we-
that small to throw it on
But
the
we,
beat.
but we won, so it
Oh,
was,
so
what is that?
but it won. Good old shad. Oh, good old shad. Any
Let me see that one.
shad wrap style baits? Playing in the future.
Potentially. I have a friend that lives out on the Ohio River, which is a huge balsa community,
Yeah.
which like it threw me for a loop kind of, but apparently it's like the thing out there.
Really?
The Ohio River is like very tough fishing, and a lot of guys throw balsa out there.
That makes sense because Bill Lowen throws a lot of balsa.
Yeah, because he's from around that
from
area,
Ohio
yeah.
River.
But he said he would send me pictures all the time of like the old wee baits and like they were always a shad shape, and he said they used to just if you weren't catching them on anything else, put that on and you'll at least
Like
catch
that was their
it.
go-to. Like times are tough.
Yeah,
We need
exactly.
to catch a fish.
And it's always times are tough out there. It's tough. So that's coming down the road. I think the shad or the skinny shad is kind of close in action. It's just a bulkier body, I think.
So I know you started making the skinny shad shallow last year.
Mm-hmm.
That is an amazing bait.
I love it. That's
That is
probably my
such a-
favorite one
such a
in the
good-
lineup.
And it actually it gets down deeper than I thought it would.
Yes.
You know, on 12-pound line, I can get it down about 5 feet.
Okay.
It runs
Okay.
about the same. We were talking about,
Yeah.
we were fishing. I was fishing that, and Frank was fishing a Frittside 5. We were able to get them down about the same depth. On a long cast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can get it down to about 5 feet, and it's such a great.
Here, you know what? I actually brought some of each model just so we have like a reference.
Oh,
here.
sweet.
It's funny. I went through all of my old boxes.
He brought porn to my house.
And I have the original model prototype for the skinny shad.
Oh, it looks so much different.
It doesn't
at
look
that.
different.
Yeah.
I try to go through and font. You want to see the cult one? It's not the cult. The pudge is the ugliest thing.
Yes. Is it the original bud?
Yeah. Look at
Oh
that.
shit!
thing,
Look
dude.
at that thing, dude.
Wow.
Wow.
This was when I first got into it, and I was
It's like
just
a flat
carving-
side pudge.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. And then I have the this was what the wedge started as.
So these are like your
This was the- yeah.
very first.
The
These
first
are your
iteration
first
of each
ones.
one.
I want to make something new, and like this is what I came
Yeah.
up with.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is when I first started making baits, and I wish
Wow,
we,
dude, that
I
pudge
know,
is wild. Look at this pudge.
That is kind of crazy.
And this was the bait that actually started everything. Like this
Is
is
that
the
the
first
Colt?
one. Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
Colt. And I kind of stopped making these, and this is kind of cool actually. I had a couple guys reach out to me recently, and they said, "Hey, we need more Colts. Like, can you make us some more?" So they each ordered like 11, and I haven't made them in for the longest time, and I went and tuned them this morning.
Colts.
Colts, yeah,
Yeah.
and they're not available on the website anymore. I don't make them.
I
anymore.
remember
Is there
a
a special
year.
order
I remember
only?
like
Yeah.
2 years ago they were
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, we'll make them. We'll still make them, but it has to be. You got to reach out.
It's a special order.
Yeah,
Deal.
and dude, I got to start making them again, man, because they hunt like crazy.
Yeah, I have one Colt, and
Yeah.
it's that you gave me. It was you gave it to me because of the paint job was
yeah,
like
I
jacked
was
up.
giving some out.
Dude, that thing it does hunt.
I don't know why,
so well.
and I think that this is some juice here. I don't know if I should give this away, but
Say it.
okay,
This is Bass and Beer Radio.
I think that it has to do with the weight in the bait and the ratio to balsa.
Okay.
So I make the wedge. This is probably one of the most popular models. It's it weighs 3/8, but it's a smaller bait.
Yep.
So when you run it, It's a straight retrieve. There's some hunting to it,
Yeah.
but I like to use it for like covering water.
Yep.
Fishing flats, fishing. You're bouncing it off stuff, but it's just a straight retrieve bait, and it's the same amount of wood, but with a heavier weight.
Okay.
So when you go down a weight, so that's about a little bit more than a quarter of an ounce.
So a little more balsa.
A little more wood, yeah. You
versus-
get that
Okay.
crazy hunting, like you
Interesting.
winding it one way and then you stop and it starts hunting the other way. Like I think that has to do with the amount of balsa ratio to the weight.
Interesting.
So it's all working theory, but I'm hoping to figure it out one day specifically. But this is what the skinny shad is now. The skinny shad shallow. This is actually for you, Chad. I don't think you have one of these, do you?
Let me see that. Don't show
I do
any.
need a
Can you not show
shallow.
anybody this color?
Yeah. That's a newer color. I had a guy ask me for that, and I was like, "Damn!"
As
you
it
gotta
just
add
like
that.
briefly
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
across the screen, like.
Kind of a green tomato color.
Yeah, sort of. I marked it as like a char.
You wanna go down below
It's,
the table here?
No. Is this the skinny shad shallow or is this the regular
That's the skinny shad shallow. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it looks different. Maybe it's just the color.
It could be.
Interesting. That is one of my favorite springtime colors, by the way.
What, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that color too.
Biggest bag I've ever caught solo.
Like
Really?
medium ripe tomato.
I won't say that.
I like it.
I won't say the bait. I won't say the bait that it
It's
was,
just such
but
a
it
great
was that
name.
color.
Okay.
That is such a great name.
That is
for
a
this
good-
color,
medium ripe
medium
tomato.
ripe tomato.
Yes. But that's what the skinny shad is now. It's
So is that the skinny shad?
this is the skinny
This
shad.
is the
Not the
updated
skinny shad shallow.
I'm sorry. This is a skinny shad
Okay.
shallow. The body
That's the
style.
shallow.
It's the same body.
It's the
Same
same
body,
body,
different
different
bill,
bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
It
tell
was
the
a
difference.
more. It was the skinny shad itself is a longer, more pointed bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
go, hey Tyler, I need a crankbait to do this, and he's like, okay, I got this, and
Here,
this.
yeah, this will do it. So yeah, so we have that, and then this is the wedge. This is what the wedge has turned into from the ones that I had sent you.
The wedge, that's a really good crankbait too. I've
It's
got
a
few of
very consistent running bait. There's no.
those. I will say it's a great smallmouth bait.
Yes, I agree.
This foiled pearl is insane.
I don't know if anybody else. Tyler. I don't know. Yeah, I know you fish Conowingo a lot, but I have found that fishing smallmouth, a bait that doesn't hunt, tends to work a little bit better.
Yeah, it can.
Isn't it?
It can.
It's funny how that with smallmouth, it's way more prevalent in smallmouth than largemouth.
Oh
to me.
yeah. And I think that it has to do with like they're just more aggressive naturally
Yeah.
anyway. So like that hunting action has always been known to entice more strikes
Yeah.
in especially lethargic or inactive fish.
What hooks do you put on your baits?
So, okay, the hook dilemma has always been kind of a concern for me. I'm trying to keep a decent hook on there, but keep the price down. 'Cause
Right.
As soon as you get into like
yeah.
the nicer quality hooks, you gotta like they're $1 a hook. Some of these ones. So
Yeah.
this model and the little Pudge, which I'll show next, have Mustad triple grips.
Is that the
Short shank.
the KVD triple grips,
Yes.
the needle point ones? Okay.
And then every other flat side we have has I think they're just VMC short shanks.
VMC.
I will
short
tell you
shanks,
that I swap on the skinny shad shallow. I swap the hooks out on them.
Yeah, me too. I usually
I
do
use a
too.
bigger hook.
What do you use?
I use a number 4 Gamakatsu.
Okay. You know what?
Number 4 short shank.
I like the Aaron Martin ones. Have you ever
The
done
G finesse
that?
ones.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, they're
I
sharp as
that's what I use to replace.
Gamakatsu is number one.
Yeah.
That's what I use to replace Vision 110 hooks.
Yeah.
Because they're so light.
Yeah, I've
They're
read
light
that.
wire, but they're super strong. So they don't affect the. They have kind of the same. If you throw a number 5 on a 110,
It'll
it
rise
still
or
has
sink.
the same the same sink or
Okay.
float rate
Yeah.
that the stock hooks do. But the hooks are infinitely better than the stock.
There's
stock
Megabass
Megabass hooks.
ones. They're good hooks, but they're brittle.
Yeah, me and Martin have been. Me and Martin are on the same page with the number 5 Gamis on the.
Hey Martin, what's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a long time, man.
I can't get rid of him. I feel like I see him everywhere. See him all the time. He comes every Thursday night.
Yeah.
You gotta come out to some Thursday nighters.
I know.
man.
It's a trip out here for me, man.
You
It's
live in
like
what? Carroll? Are you in Carroll County?
I'm
Or
in
Frederick?
Waynesboro, Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're in Waynesboro,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Were you in?
I was in
Fort
Frederick. I was
Okay,
in
yeah.
Frederick,
That's what I thought. So where's Waynesboro, Pennsylvania?
It's about 40 minutes north of Frederick.
Okay.
So
So is that like? I mean, are we talking like out? Is it like directly north or out toward like Bedford?
I'd say it's
area?
almost straight up north.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more like closer to like Gettysburg type.
Little
west of Gettysburg.
Yeah, it's west of Gettysburg. Okay. I'd say I'm like closer to Hagerstown.
Hagerstown. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm like right over the line.
Yeah, I got you.
But and then this is the little pudge. This is our square bill. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Is that's the little one?
Well, there's no regular pudge, so they're all little pudges.
There could be.
There needs to be.
I don't
Hold
like
on.
the big.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that off camera.
But some people think there needs to be.
I understand, but
You have no idea how good of a crankbait
Why
that
can't
is.
you need a big swim bait crankbait?
Oh, jeez.
You need one of those you need a big dick crankbait. You know what I'm saying?
Tyler, the original pudges that you made, I will go out and say they are the best square bill crankbait I've ever thrown.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. You heard it here first.
It's
but
been
you don't make
said
them anymore.
multiple times. It's been said multiple times on the show. Like it's.
I have said it multiple times.
Multiple times.
It's the best crankbait, but he doesn't make it anymore.
I know, and I think it's because like those ones. Okay, so
It's a very, very, very good crankbait.
The process of
color
carving them.
This color is.
I got it
insane.
more streamlined than these.
Okay.
So those ones were very crude.
Yeah.
I would say, but they had crazy, and the bill was smaller.
It's so good.
It is, yeah, and that's what I was throwing when I fished with you that day.
It's so good.
Maybe I'll make some just for you.
That yellow and black one those yellow and black ones that you made for me, I will destroy my trolling motor to get them back.
That's
because I know you don't make them anymore, and
yeah.
I've called. That's one when I was telling you downstairs. I shut one in a box. It was one of those.
It is.
Well, dude, get me that. Let me have that one, and I'll carve you up some more.
Okay.
So we'll get some more of those.
I have
out in the wild.
I have two of your baits.
I'm not pulling your leg, man. They are some of the best crankbaits that I've ever thrown.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I've caught them everywhere. On Nanacoke, Chop Tank, literally everywhere you can fish in Maryland. Like that's my go-to spot.
Wait, let's not. The little pudge is still a good bait. He's just.
It's a phenomenal.
Hold on.
Bait.
Well, let me come back to here. The biggest fish that I caught this year, I caught on a little pudge.
Okay.
I caught a 6 and a what was it like a. I think it was
I'm
like
telling
6.
you guys right now, if you do not click on this link and go to his website and
crazy.
order 2 of his crankbaits, you're idiots. Like,
well, how about this? I don't have it up right. Oh, you know what?
I don't even mean to come off as crude like that, but we're like, I'm not selling his crankbait to you because he's my sponsor. I'm selling it to you because it's the best freaking crankbait, balsa wood crankbait out there. It is phenomenal.
Here, I'm gonna do something real quick.
So yeah, the little pudge. I did catch I caught like a 6 1/4 on the gunpowder on it this year.
Was that big?
That's the one I
showed
showed you with like one eye.
Yeah.
Had
God, I love behind one eye like that. With the eyes are bulging out of their heads.
I thought it was a catfish. I just caught a catfish. Like literally the cast before, I catch like an 8-pound channel cat.
Jeez.
And
on that bait.
I unhook it and I went to cast again and I was like. That catfish was pretty big. I better retie.
Yeah.
I sit down and I retie and I got my power poles down and I retie and I make the same exact cast and it just goes boom.
It just loads up.
And I'm like, it's another catfish. And then it starts running out and it's hugging the bottom. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just a catfish. And then it comes up and I'm like, oh, now it's like a 4-pounder. And then it jumps and I'm like, oh, it's like a 5-pounder. And then I get it in my hand. I'm like. It's 6. It's the only bass I've ever caught that got bigger as it got closer.
That is the truth. They look huge when they're far out, and then when they come back in, it's like.
Oh yeah, I get it in the boat. And I'm like, that's a 6.
The fish I caught must have came off, and then I caught another one on the way to the boat.
Yeah, it was funny. It just kept getting bigger. Every time I saw it, it got bigger.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that was on the little pudge in the it's one of your standard colors. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the. Like yellow with the green back.
The Char Classic?
Maybe.
Or like the nano?
Yeah, I think it's like the Char Classic.
Okay.
It's like a chartreusey yellow on the bottom with a like a bright green, kind of a bright green back.
Yep.
Yeah, that's been, I've caught a lot of fish on that.
That's Brian Trishman asked me to paint up.
I remember when Brian Trishman asked you about that.
Yeah.
When we were all at the chop tank
At the
hotel.
Yes, I do. yes. I was looking for lighters so I could get some hook protectors on stuff. I remember that. So this is the last bait that we have in the lineup here, I think. Yeah. So this is the Sea Pop.
Phenomenal.
I don't know if you guys can see it here.
I have not caught a fish on the Sea Pop yet.
Bro.
But
this one?
I haven't.
I have.
So this one I had made. Well, there was a guy who bought some, and he said, "Hey, can you paint me up this color?" It was like a blue pearl, like belly, and then black, whatever, on the top, but it was foil. And I made an extra one for myself to keep, and I had it tied on all year. I caught over 100 fish this year.
Nice.
On this popper.
So
and it stayed like...
What I noticed...
I'm here to tell you right now,
so
early spring, this popper will get annihilated.
Oh, for sure.
So the two that I have, again, were some of your early versions of it when you first made it. And they're a little crude. And I feel like the action has probably improved on them.
Yes.
Because like the two that I have, like I have a one that's similar in color to this and a white one. Mm-hmm. They have completely different action in the water.
Yeah.
So like I haven't really thrown them.
Mm-hmm. I'll get you some.
I would throw these.
But
this one's caught a couple.
Yeah, dude.
Look at them 2 for marks.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of insane. So when I was making this one specifically, I didn't really know what I wanted it to do, kind of per se. I kind of just wanted to fill that gap because I felt like in the summertime where like nobody was buying balsa baits in the summertime. You know what I mean? Like there was such an ebb and flow. Yeah.
I can understand that, but at the same time, you can make balsa baits that have the summertime action too.
Sure.
That 6-pounder I caught was in July.
Yeah. See, like the square bill kind of filled that gap, but like around here, like everyone's fishing grass for the most part. So like there was such a gap in sales that I noticed. And I was like, well, let me try and make a topwater. And the cool thing about this is it sits in the water like a Rico.
Yes.
So when you're popping it,
oh my god, I can't believe you just said that.
you can walk.
Everybody knows about the Rico, Chad.
Yeah.
It's not a secret.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Nobody wants to pay the money for the Ricos, just like the swim baits. Go
to any tournament on the Upper Bay of Potomac in June, and every single person in the tournament has a Rico title.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what?
It's a popular thing,
right? Like,
but the cool thing about this is you can walk it.
You're too young to talk to girls.
So, how many of your first bucks did you throw? Oh, Scott, I have boxes and boxes of 3700s of baits that are just without hooks and they're just sitting in my garage.
Are they just like...
They're either the paint, I didn't like how the paint turned out. They were crude. They just didn't fit the standard, I guess, or whatever. But I'm talking boxes of them.
I can't imagine the patience it's taken you to do this.
Well, you saw some of the early ones, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they were...
I will... That's one thing I will say. If you get a crankbait
dude, this
from Tyler,
little budge, this is a crude bait right here.
So, if you get a crankbait from Tyler, you can rest assured it is tuned perfectly. I have asked him to make me baits and made orders from him, and get a message from him that just says, "Hey, there's only 9 of them in here. I threw you an extra one of this one because I couldn't get it to run right."
Yeah.
So like he will not send you a bait that does not run correctly.
Exactly. Yeah, and to be honest, I guess that kind of is a segue into why I started making baits to begin with. Like, I guess, well, one, prices for balsa baits on a tackle warehouse platform were outrageous.
$25, $30.
Outrageous, and I'd have to buy 2 or 3 because I'd get some with the bill all crooked and Keith was. That is a good idea.
There you go.
Turn those trash ones into like a couple bucks.
Yeah. Maybe at least get a little,
give them away. But so I don't know. I was having to buy like $60 worth of crankbaits to get 1 or 2 that were like fine and ran good out of the box. So I was like, well, let me just try and make some. It was during COVID, like not a lot of stuff going on. So pulled out some of those ugly ones and caught fish on them, dude. Like that ugly one caught a fish, and I was like, you know what? If that works, I can make it pretty and make it more attractive to the fishermen. So let me do that. And the idea behind it catches fish, and it's a local thing, and it's I fish myself a lot, so I can get it out there, and I like throwing crankbaits a lot, so it kind of got me started in that, and then.
I mean, I have a whole box.
Yeah, Paul is keeping the electric on at UMA.
I try. I mean, it's just what?
What's he say?
What's his name? So, I will say that one of the you talked about it being local, and that's one of the things that, again, you talked about the tackle warehouse. I love throwing balsa baits, but I'm not paying $25 for PH Customs.
I didn't want to say it, but
I love their baits. They're great, but I just can't especially for the stuff that I'm fishing. It's not like I'm out fishing. I'm throwing your square bills into treetops. I'm going to lose some.
Yeah.
It hurts a lot less when it costs $18 versus $25 or $30. Random thought talking about expensive. Have you put your hands on any of the waterwood?
I haven't. Do you have one here?
I don't have it here.
Okay.
I'll bring it to the MR Bass Food.
Okay, yeah,
please. I won 2 of them.
Okay,
from,
from
Bass
U. Yeah.
So I'll bring them. I'll let you check them out. I've thrown them. They're interesting. They're very heavy.
Well, they're made of that marapicha wood or something like that.
Like it's a real dense wood.
Yeah.
They're very heavy. I haven't thrown them enough to really have an opinion on them. But anyway.
The amount of UMA lure. The amount of UMA lure baits sitting in front of me right now is
yes, please.
It's sexually arousing.
Almost as arousing as about 2:30 today.
Yes.
Yes. Why don't you, we're talking a lot about baits. Let's hear about the boat.
It was straight up like.
I told Chad.
Bro, we walked back there and put eyes on his boat, and we both just pitched a tent right away.
Yeah.
It was.
I told Chad if I had a boner in the truck, it wasn't because of him. I promise.
And I totally understood that. Yeah. Because we both had boners.
So
it was like.
You don't realize how big a 250 show is until you stand next to it.
It literally looks bigger than the motor that's in your car.
It's bigger. It's like massive. Taller than I am.
And the other thing is too, dude, the colors in your boat surpassed what
it surpassed the expectation. Because I bought this boat. It
looks really nice.
I bought this boat sight unseen.
Dude, the blue is beautiful.
Is it brand new?
Brand new.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a brand new. So for those watching, I picked up my 2023 Skeeter ZXR 20 today.
Hell yeah, boy!
I bought it sight unseen.
He's skeeting on these dudes
because it was a 2023. Skeet.
He's been dying to say that
since this morning, straight up.
He said it like 4 times on the way home.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're skeeting on everybody.
So, it's a 2023. It is brand new, 0 hours. It was one of the last 2023s on the East Coast. I found 2 2023s.
Wow.
So they were pretty heavily discounted because they were 2023s. I didn't want to spend it was a 2024 was like 10 grand more.
Yeah.
So I bought it, again, sight unseen. I found they had one at Town Marine. I was like, well, that's a lot closer than the one I found in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank
God we didn't have to go to South Carolina.
I could see what colors it was. I could kind of see what color it was in the picture. And I thought it, in the picture in the sunlight, it looks like it's gunmetal with a solid blue stripe, no flake. And then black, black with blue fleck on the bottom. And I get there, and you're good. I get there, and the top cap is not only gunmetal, but it's gunmetal and blue fleck. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say,
it is beautiful.
It's like this nice,
It looks
it's
like
a deep blue, but it's not a super deep blue.
So if you just look at the top cap, it almost looks like a baby blue from a distance. Yeah. And then when you get up close, you can see that it's silver with this blue fleck in it.
Yeah.
And it is It's way better looking than it was in
So
pictures.
what model boat is that?
It's a ZXR20.
What is the difference in like when a boat's an I class for the Skeeters?
So that was their older.
Okay.
It was the I class was their older flagship model.
Yeah.
Before the FX came out, that was the
Okay.
pre-FX.
Okay.
So they went from the I class to the FX for their top of the line. It went I class, FX, FXR.
So you have
So it's a little different hull design.
Okay.
It's wider. So
you have
they've
like
changed some things.
Berkeley crankbaits, and then you have UMA lure crankbaits.
No,
That's
it's more
kind of like the.
It's
thingy
more
right
like-
there.
Hey,
It's more like
Don't you say it!
so. It's more like going from the Berkeley Digger to the Berkeley Fritz side.
okay, yeah. Hey,
All right,
I've
so,
thrown
okay,
the
there's a
digger
good one
before.
right there. I'll accept that.
Have you thrown any of those, like the pit bull,
The War Pig
the war pig?
is a freaking badass lipless crankbait.
Yeah, it is. I
For-
like them.
It is. It's got a different sound to it. It's got a different vibration.
The
and
juice
it
is
flat out
flowing.
catches
Yeah.
them.
The
Dude,
juice is flowing. Take it
I
in.
think me and Paul can just talk juice all day, dude.
The juice is flowing.
The Berkeley, is it the square bull?
The square bull, yeah.
My dad would throw that crankbait religiously in the ugliest, most vibrant blue gill color and catch them year round.
It's a
Winter time in the Northeast.
think about it. Like it's a square bill.
Yeah.
You know, like to me, like a square bill, most square bills, like a plastic body square bill is a plastic body square
Yeah.
bill. There's not a lot of difference between them. Like if you go, I like Lucky Craft. Lucky Craft makes great crankbaits,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this
but there's not a lot of
No.
difference.
I'm trying to make room for your beer.
Oh,
so it
good.
doesn't
Well, I
have
don't want
be
to knock
like-
it over, man. That's my.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
right
you know
on.
what I mean?
There's there's not a lot of difference between a Lucky Craft RC 1.5 and a KVD Strike King 1.5. They're both fantastic crankbaits. There's not a lot of difference in them. So like that, like I can see that. Like that square bill, it's a square bill crankbait,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But man,
The war pig.
that war pig is
The war pig was a.
that's
it
some
was
that's
a
some
big,
juice. I don't talk about that.
Oh, you throw
Yeah.
it a lot.
I do.
Do you?
Zachary, we'll get to your
I
question.
actually
in a
need to.
minute.
I actually need to find some more of them.
They're yeah. I've thrown the big one for striper a couple times, and it would catch them then. But I'm a TK guy. You know what I mean? Give me the jack all day.
Let's
The
go.
disc
Oh, the
knocker?
No.
the TN80.
Yeah, it's a TN. Yeah.
You said TK and Chad just popped a boner.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, you're throwing big swim baits."
Oh, no,
snap.
sorry. Yeah, the TN, the disc knocker,
I did. Speaking of TKs, and you'll find this funny. We had our club tournament on Conowingo. We had to postpone it till it was October 31st this year, and my friend Mike Powers
Oh,
just
yeah, I met
absolutely wrecked them up there. So we ended up fishing in the same area later in the day. And he's like, yeah, this is where this is where I caught him. He kept telling us, I've got 18 pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Like, it was a tough day for me. Like, I had like 7 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's no way. He's like, dude, he's like, I'm not kidding. I have 18 pounds. I'm like, okay, whatever. And he's throwing a TK, which is a 6-inch crank down giant. I mean, it's a very big glide bait.
Okay.
It's like in the big swim bait world, it's like a medium sized bait. But he's throwing this on Conowingo.
Really?
Catches a smallmouth on it, and I'm like, I look at it, and he's like, I don't think it's gonna help. And he's like, nope, 2 3/4, and just chucks it back. And I'm like, really? Like you just got one on a 6-inch, it's a 2-ounce crankbait,
Yeah.
or 2-ounce glide bait, crankbait. I don't know, it's a weird bait.
Yeah.
But, like he's
Wait,
like,
is that the Tiny Clash?
Tiny Clash,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
I know. It's like
You know what the Tiny
almost
Clash-
like a wake bait, sort of, right?
it's it gets down to in crankdown mode, it gets down pretty deep.
Okay.
Like I think he was
Okay.
getting down to like 8 feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, yeah.
are there ones with just the flat? Like
So
the
they have,
round-
They have like 5 different lips for
Okay.
this
Yeah,
thing.
so you can change the lip
It's
to make it different.
interchangeable lips.
Okay.
And
And you can throw it in glide. Like you can take the lip off and throw it as a
they've been
glide bait.
decent, but as soon as you hit something with it,
yeah.
That bill's
the
gone.
potential to either
Oh.
lose it or break the bill
Yeah.
is there. Actually, there was a TK down there on the big
I saw
one.
it.
We were
I saw
there.
it without a lip in it.
No lip in it.
Yeah.
You want to know why?
You break it off.
Because I broke it. I broke it on like the freaking 15th cast.
Jeez.
So
Yeah, it was-
I'm not blaming like them for that, but yeah, I was
I
throwing
mean,
it
it's just one
around
of those
docks.
things that's
It
going to
broke.
happen with something like that.
But I had
The nice thing
I
is
had
that
one lip for it.
the bill's interchangeable, so
Yeah.
like you
pay
just
like
combine your
$40
beat.
bucks and get like 5 different lips and change your depths. And then the tail also changes from horizontal to vertical.
I've seen that. Yeah,
which
yeah,
changes the action.
Yeah, which changes
That's
how it works.
interesting.
They're really
Versatile
cool
baits,
baits.
Yeah, it's a very cool bait.
He actually
That was one of those baits that was so hyped that it was
Yeah.
like you can't even get them.
Yeah.
So
You can get them pretty decently now though.
Mike actually called his PB on the Clash 9,
Okay.
which is the 9-inch version of it down
Hammer, dude.
in North Carolina. He caught a 12-pounder.
I need that
Was
Clash
that with the
9
guy?
actually. while
That
we're
was with
talking.
Okay, yeah,
Austin
yeah.
from
yeah,
Dreamcatcher.
yeah.
Dream
I saw that
Catchers, yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Or he posted the what's his name,
Dreamcatcher.
Austin. He
Yeah,
posted a video.
Supposedly
Yeah.
it's the biggest bass ever caught on a Clash
On a DRT bait.
Really?
Cast to catch.
on video.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So
Yeah,
it's
Shout
like-
out Mike Powers right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Shout
awesome.
out, shout out, Mike.
Mike's my boy.
Mike's cool.
I don't know if we've ever seen
Mike
Mike
was-
comment on the show.
Mike was telling me the story when he fished smallmouth crush in the ice. He said that was funny. I don't want to butcher it, but
It was funny. It involved we're gonna run to the gunpowder. Why the hell do you want to do
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Like there's no fish there. It's like, but I caught him. I caught him here in a
Yeah.
BFL 2 years ago. He's like, but they're not there now.
So what's this? What's the process for making your baits?
Yeah, what's the process for making your baits?
From start to finish?
So yeah, let's go from when you
Shout
got
out to
started.
Zach.
Yeah.
Do you know Zach?
That is
That's Danny's nephew.
Yes, I
Yep.
think I met him once or twice at a show or something. I think.
Zach's a good
From
guy.
when you got started in making your baits, how did you refine making your baits?
Okay.
To where
Yeah, you told
are
us how you
now,
got started, kind of
Yeah.
like in
Kinda,
you know
yeah, a
during
little
COVID.
bit, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
So how did the process go from like okay, well I made a bait for myself to like I can produce these.
Yes. So everything was at one point carved by hand.
Yep.
Everything, and as it progressed, it was I noticed that my numbers of actual usable sellable baits was like almost 50%. Like it was terrible. And then I got this is funny. I bought this like I don't even know. It's like a concrete router piece. And I put it on a drill press because all I had was a drill press and like a little scroll saw from Harbor Freight. And I would hold I'd have it running and I'd hold it with my hands and like just round the edges and like turn it around. And it was so sketchy, dude, because it's like, it was just sketchy. And it was just a concrete router, but it was like still sketchy. So that like refined it a little bit. And then I've sold enough baits at this point to where I purchased a CNC machine. And what it actually does is cut the shape out
Right.
for the flat sides. I'll get a sheet of balsa. I'll get it down. I put my program in. It gets like lays out each individual bait on the sheet, and I'll cut out the shape. And then from there, what I'll do is I'll run it through an actual router.
To shape
So are you,
the
shape
edges
the
and-
edge.
So are you starting with like a balsa slab that's like the thickness that you
Yes,
want?
yes.
So then you just kind of have to round
Around
out
the
the
edge,
shape
yep.
and refine it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But
And
your weight placement and where you drill there's like weight placement in the baits,
Yeah.
right?
yes.
Yeah. So like your weight placement makes all the difference in how.
Yes.
Yeah, there were
For
multiple models that like I messed with where like the angle I put the weight in, how far back in the bait, how far forward, like different amount of weights. So it's all been trial and error for like a year probably at this point. And like that thing was like
This thing.
yeah, that was after a year of
That is the
already
Hunchback of Notre Dame right there. Like
I will have to say, this is one of the ugliest crankbaits I've ever
I
seen.
know. I will admit that
bro,
because
that is the Hunchback of UMA Lure Company, bro. Like
It looks like anybody who subscribes to Bass Blaster and sees the dirt bass, that's what this crankbait looks like.
yes, I wish it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
It's very derpy.
Dude,
But that
dude,
was-
what a hammer bait it has turned into,
Yes,
though.
I will say it has. That one specifically has kind of transformed it set me aside because there's a lot of guys that make flat sides.
This is a pudge body with a different bill.
It's a variation of a pudge body. I
Yeah.
stretched it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Any chance you turn that into a type of square bill? I kind of like that
Possibly.
body shape.
Yeah.
That body
Yeah.
shape's pretty. This body shape's pretty
We
pretty nice, and it's very.
we talked about before you even got here to the house. We talked about a little bit of
It's a little bigger.
soft plastic development before you got
Possibly.
here. Hell yeah.
Like it's a.
We'll talk.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Paul
dude,
is
it's
not
like-
is anti that little pudge current in its current state. He's just anti it.
I just like that. That bigger.
even though his biggest one was like.
I will. No, that bigger size. It comes through cover a little bit better.
It does. It does.
In that bigger size, and that's the main thing because I'm, mostly fishing that on the gunpowder.
Yeah.
and
It's rock
fishing
and
wood.
and stuff. Yeah.
And it just comes. It comes through wood. No, I don't really have a problem getting the wool pudge through wood.
Just
It's a great bait. It's a very big confidence bait for me.
Sure.
And
Well,
I've
like
caught
I said,
a
man.
ton of fish on it.
Well,
We'll
carve
figure
some
something
up,
out.
Yeah. But okay, so from that step, once they're routed, it's kind of cool. I had an issue of like, at this point I'm using a real router, and there's a real danger of me losing a finger.
Yeah.
Doing it by
Yeah.
So I made this thing. It's basically like a frame, and the frame is the width of the bait.
Okay.
So I put a piece of plexiglass over top of it, and I put nails, like two nails in the middle of it. And what I would do is I would put the bait on the nails, and then two handles on the frame with the plexiglass, and run it through the router so I could see it without actually touching the bait.
Right.
So that saved me a bunch of digits. And from there, it goes to I'll seal the holes, I'll seal the wood. What's this? A 10-minute discussion.
Dustin says you gave him a master class on swim jig fishing from his own boat.
Dustin has probably stole more money from guys in his club
Dustin is the
Oh,
best.
than the
straight up,
IRS.
Then the IRS.
I will go on record to saying that Dustin is the best spinnerbait fisherman that I've ever met.
I will agree with that.
Hands down.
Well, he's also like one of the guys that throw it consistently.
Well, I throw a spinnerbait a lot, and
Yeah.
I love throwing a spinnerbait. I throw a spinnerbait more than I will throw a spinnerbait in grass before I throw a swim jig. I hate throwing a swim jig.
Oh, dude, a swim jig is.
I
the
cannot
deal,
catch fish.
man.
I cannot catch fish on a swim jig. To
do
save
me
my life.
a do me a big favor,
But
everybody.
Dustin, like I'll go out and I'll be like, yeah, I caught a few on a spinnerbait, and Dustin will be like, yeah, I caught 30.
Yeah. He's
Like,
just-
yeah, they were chomping that spinnerbait. I was like,
Dustin's
yeah, I caught a couple on a
a
spinnerbait.
natural fisherman.
Yes, 100%.
Dustin is a natural fisherman.
Do me
I miss
a
you, buddy.
big
I haven't
favor.
seen you in a while.
Do me a big favor, everybody. Hit that like and that share button. Let's get some more people up in here for some crankbait conversation. Because I don't know about y'all, but this is some straight juice, and I want to share this with everybody.
Me too, man.
Some straight up
Yeah,
juice right now.
Me too. So
If I see any of you
You're right,
guys
though,
with a
Dustin.
UMA lure tied on at the Thursday night threefers, I'm fighting you in the parking lot.
Anybody who has a UMA lure tied on gets a free Bass and Beer sticker.
ooh,
Ooh.
go and
They're-
buy your UMA.
Even though they're always free.
That's funny. That is funny. But yeah, so once the wood is sealed, we seal the wood, and then all epoxy. It's a brushed on epoxy. It sits on the wheel for about 24 hours probably. And all the wheel is just a rotisserie that I bought off Amazon.
Yep.
And I'll
Rotisserie?
for rotisserie
Like, you
chicken.
throw some chickens on
Yeah,
there every
dude,
once
like,
in a while.
it's
Like,
budget.
If he gets hungry, like
Yeah,
if the crankbait
like,
world,
you know,
ever,
like,
if the crankbait game ever goes south, like he can sell chicken.
I don't know
so-
if I would cook that chicken in the paint oven, bro. Like,
So the table is just like a slowly becoming a mound of a dripped epoxy. Like it's just so high up now.
Oh, Sean, thanks for joining, brother. Appreciate it, man. Glad to have you
Yeah.
here.
But so after the wheel epoxy, I'll sand it, and then from there I will prime it and paint it, put a bill in, cut the slot. Well, actually, I'll seal it in a top coat, and that's another 24-hour drive.
Right.
So once then I'll cut the bill slot, put the bill in, epoxy it again, same thing, 24 hours. And then I'll put you got to cut the excess epoxy off, put the hooks on, the split rings, then you go and tune it, pack it up, and that's it. That
Have
was
you-
the condensed
I mean,
version.
dude, there is a
Have you
straight up
messed with-
process though. Like, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
it's not a short process.
Oh, no.
It is not a short process.
I usually do them in batches of 50 at this point, and it usually takes about 2 weeks to get through that
for 50.
for the whole process.
Now, do you have like a constant like process where like these baits are or are you just running like one rotisserie?
Child
kind of
slave
have
labor.
to. So you kind of.
I'm waiting for that. I got a couple more years.
So you have to. You got to wait for those 50 to be done before you can start the next 50. Well, to a point, like you can obviously you can cut them out. You know,
Like
you can cut them out and have them ready. But
I try and get to a point where like there's always something happening. Like I don't like to sit during a dry time and like twiddle my thumbs. Like, you know what I mean? Especially in the wintertime, like with all these shows in the spring. I'm just pumping out as many as I can.
That's where this bait came from.
Yes.
Those dry times.
Exactly. And I'm actually, there's another one in the work, and this is way out of like the realm of even being a plausible thing, but I'm trying to make something that Tony would throw. So I'm making a rock crawler.
I was going to say it better be a frog.
If your bait is your bait costs more than $5.
I'm making a balsa rock crawler for you, Tony. So I hope that I'm probably only going to do one, but it will be for Tony.
It will be.
So he can say that he throws my baits.
Okay.
Martin, I hope it's cheap.
I gotta say, I'm only saying this because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So we sent multiple of your baits, Matt Herron, David Fritz.
Okay.
We sent your baits to every single professional angler that we've had on here.
Yeah, yeah.
So David Fritz is getting your balsa cranks.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Who else?
And
who else? We sent 3 out. We just sent 3 packages out. Who did we send the other one to?
Matt Herron, David Fritz, and Danny Brower.
Danny Brower, yeah.
They're all getting your crankbaits.
Wow, that's cool. Any feedback?
Not
we
yet.
just sent them out. We just sent them out this week.
We just sent them out. You will get the feedback when we get some.
All right.
David
Fritz was very excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
he was pretty pumped
Well,
about
we told
that.
him we were sending it.
Well,
so.
he's like one of the
The
pillars,
godfather of
country.
crankbait.
Dude, he just going back to what has come from his ideas is just insane.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
So, George at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle was telling a story about about David Fritz one time, and he created the Post, the Post 300, and George had a whole box full of Post 300s.
Okay.
And he was so dialed in to which ones would be good. He just went through the box and went, that one's good, that one's junk,
just by
junk,
looking at
that
it.
One's good, junk, that one's good.
How do you do that?
That's great.
Like he just knew, he could look at like the tail and the shape of the tail, and he would just know which ones would be good and which ones wouldn't.
Well, that kind of caught when he said that they would look for the skinnier tails in baits.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, oh well, not that this was designed in that nature, but like the little pudge does have a skinnier tail.
Yeah.
How do you not go into something with a feeler gauge to figure out if the tail is skinnier or not? Like, it can't be that big of a difference.
Well, when you've looked at 1,000 of them, you
and
just
you probably
know.
made
more than
1,000,
like
more
of
than
them,
1,000.
Like,
Well, so think about it. Like when you're like even like when Tyler, when you're testing baits, you say you make 5 of them and you take them out to a pool and you run them and you're like, okay, this one runs good, but these 4 run like junk. What's the difference between you're looking at what the difference is between those 2? Okay, did I make something a little different on this one? What exactly did I do?
Sometimes it's
And when
very
you see
obvious.
them, yeah.
Sometimes it is obvious, and like the bill's just a little bit not like it's
not
just
level.
My biggest thing that I run into a lot is, especially on the flat sides, the epoxy ends up drying a little heavy on one side.
Okay.
So when I go and put them in my jig that cuts the bill slot, it raises up, so it's like off kilter a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it's not a flush cut, basically.
Want to hear a little juice?
Yeah, man.
So I noticed when on the skinny shad shallow that I have that catches them, there's more epoxy on one side than there is on the other.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It just comes. It's just a little farther down the bill.
Okay.
Than it is on this side.
Well, okay. So that's.
And I don't know if that's the difference.
Well, it's a good point that you pointed out, because this is something that I found, and I wasn't gonna really share, but I don't know. There's less people on the live, especially some of the balsa guys. So the little pudge now.
Which is a great bait, despite what I say.
Yes.
It's a fantastic bait.
The little pudge is actually 2 pieces of wood glued together, right?
Okay.
And what I found was there was ones that were hunting really well, and then there were ones that were running straight. And I don't know why I did this, but I started weighing the halves. And the ones that were running straight had the same the same weight of wood.
So the wood was the same density on both sides.
Yes. And what I ended up doing was finding pieces that were just a little bit off.
Little bit of variance.
A little
in
bit
the
of
weight from left to right.
Yes. So
Okay.
you get that.
Well, a little secret in the crankbait
that is a
making
secret,
thing.
and that's like a hard thing they do, or find, I guess.
This one popped
I'm
up.
gonna start making my own crankbaits now.
somebody asked if the Lil Pudge was your favorite crankbait.
That's probably the one that I throw the most, to be honest. I probably throw the Little Pudge most just because it you're like late spring to early fall, like that. I don't know, March to September. I'm probably throwing that, and then as soon as outside of that, it's a flat side for me.
Yeah.
And I'll pick up here's one thing that I found is, especially on the rivers, the Eastern Shore and the James, the Chickahominy, you throw the flat side in a low tide on the off, in the channel almost.
Yeah.
It catches them, dude. It's crazy. I was throwing a square bill all day, catching them on high up in the wood and stuff. As soon as that tide falls out, I'll throw that square bill, nothing. And then I was like, let me just try it.
When you mentioned the shore and the James, where they have those big tide swings.
Yeah, where there's a drastic change in the water height and everything.
You think the epoxy on one side changes that weight differential and actually makes that bait hunt a little differently?
I that's the only thing that I've noticed on them.
Yeah.
It could. I mean, I've seen it where the smallest little defect causes the bait to run.
Well, look at the wiggle wort.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing
I
with the
brought
wiggle
one,
wort.
dude.
Right,
I brought one because that was a bait that I threw a lot, and I don't throw the old ones. I have a ton of the old ones.
Is that an old one?
Yeah, this is an old one. But you can see the bill; it's not center.
The line tie. Look at the line tie.
The mold.
Yeah,
When they made these old ones, the mold was wrong. Basically, the bill was offset.
It's incredible. That's what people want, though.
I know.
It's
So what it did was it created a hunting action on that bait that no other bait had, and it can I say that?
Yeah.
What color we got there?
But I did bring. Is Martin still on?
Little natural brown crawl. Yeah. I can't remember which one that is.
He might be.
V36.
V36, yeah, 38 or something like that.
Hit that like and share button, boys. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining the podcast. Keep on hitting that like and share. Get our broadcast out there.
Yeah.
If you're still on, you better answer the damn question.
So the biggest thing, here's what I know about old school wiggle worts is look at it this way. The line ties off center.
Yeah, they're also two-piece baits.
It's hard to see that, honestly.
It's just slightly.
It's barely.
And like Tyler said, it was because they ended up fixing the mold or something like that.
What's that bait go for right now on the market?
That color probably $20-$30.
Yeah.
It's not nothing crazy.
Yeah, in a Fisher. If it was new in box, $40-$50.
Mm-hmm. But there's some of the deeper crawl, the red and there's a
Missouri crawl,
a pastel red.
Missouri crawl.
Yeah, the Missouri crawl.
Those are $300.
Yeah, they go for a pretty penny.
Wow.
Because they probably didn't make a ton of them because it's not a.
We'll talk. I'll tell you about some wiggle worts.
Okay.
I
I always enjoy walking these shows prior to the public coming in and seeing if there's any wiggle worts or stuff.
Wiggle worts. I got there's some old baits that I still throw. At the MR Bass Flea Market last year, I found a guy that had 2 diamond chads.
Okay.
You know, with the old Strike King lipless.
Yeah.
And they're money baits.
Yeah.
They're awesome. And he's I'm well, and he had a Ruku shad too.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
so he said, I'm well, how much for other? He's oh yeah, just $15. I was sold. Those diamond shads are money, and they're really hard to find now.
Do you how much do you dabble with the normal rattle traps?
A lot.
The Bill Lewis ones.
The Bill Lewis one's not a whole lot.
No.
So I found a couple of very specific ones that I throw that have significantly outproduced the original rattle trap. Okay. And I throw most of the rattle baits that I throw are 6 cents. Mm-hmm. I'll throw it. Right. It's the 6 cent snatch.
Okay. Okay.
And I've caught so many big fish on them in the Upper Bay. It's not that it's that bait, and a lot of it's just knowing where to fish. I don't think it would be really any better than a Bill Lewis rattle trap. But I've found that I like the way they run better.
Okay.
They have a little tighter wobble.
Yeah.
So I just like the way they run a little bit better. But I have my favorite is Excalibur.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I still throw. I actually only have one original Excalibur left.
Okay.
But despite what the fanboys say, the Booyah's is the exact same bait.
You think?
It is.
That's interesting. I have both, and I don't throw the Excalibur.
I actually talked to one of the Pradco regional like product designers. Mm-hmm. They're literally made with the same in the same exact factory with the same exact material. The only thing that's different is the paint and the hooks. Okay, that's interesting. That's a good tip for everyone out there that is searching for. And I had a broken Excalibur that I cut open. Yeah. Like they're exactly the same. There's nothing different between them. It's kind of like. So like the wiggle wart, there is a difference between with those there's no difference other than the Excaliburs have better paint jobs. Okay, interesting. I love the Excaliburs though. Yeah, those were always my favorite. Gold blackback Excalibur XR50. I might have some if you want to. So many fish on them. If you need some, I did bring. I wanted to because Martin had made a comment that I hear a lot, and I. Can you mind if I scroll? Yeah. Do your thing. I know you got somebody on your lap here. I hear this a lot. Let me see. This one here. Tyler would show up to our club tournaments with like 5 rods and the smallest tackle. And then proceed to whoop my ass every time. So that is 100% true. I can tell you when he drew me in the ABA.
I can attest for this. This happened.
He brought all of his baits in like a lunch bag.
Yeah, he's got a brown paper bag he walked up to the boat with. Like
it's literally the free bag that you get with the bass.
The blue
bass membership bag. But I brought some baits today to kind of just show what I like to throw outside of a crankbait.
Right. What do you throw outside of a crankbait?
Great idea.
Yeah.
What are your go-tos?
Great idea.
Something different,
it's right? Like he doesn't only throw his crankbaits
So I throw a jig a lot.
Yeah.
Of different variations, and I've actually brought some to you guys because I know you're fairly new to flipping a jig. Right?
Yes.
And you are a mainstay. I don't know if you already have a favorite, but I want to introduce you to one that I like.
I make my own.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't pour my own heads.
I was gonna say you pour your.
I found a head that I really like, and I just make my own.
So this is the jig that I throw. It's a hybrid equip silicone and fine rubber skirt. It's a 1/2 ounce jig.
Let me take a look at this. That skirt is. Oh.
And that's not trimmed down. It comes like that.
It comes like that.
That fine cut on the bottom. Yeah. I like that.
So I've thrown this, and I caught my biggest fish last year of my life on the James River flipping this. It was like a 9.5 or something like that.
Crap.
This is my practice one now because I cut the barbell off, but I brought one for each of you. That one's brand new. I just threw just to try it if you like it. It's I think it's Pros Factory maybe makes it, but you got to try it. I used to throw this jig a lot, and I can't find it anymore. It's a Gamakatsu.
Dude, I bet you that thing freaking skips pretty decent.
It skips. It comes through grass fairly decent for like an Arky head, but it comes through wood extremely well. And cypress trees. That's what I was flipping. I was flipping it on cypress trees on the James. And but this is what I used to throw. This is like a Gamakatsu little hook. That's a 1/2 ounce, but they don't make them anymore. Okay. But the hook was like
I know. Yep, I know.
Like fine wire, and this jig that I brought was the closest thing I could find to this, but with a bigger hook.
So I like a hook in my jigs.
Yeah.
I like a hook in my jigs.
So I like a small compact jig, as small as I can get it, but in a heavy weight.
So
it's got a decent sized head on it.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that. and this is like like trends in personal fishing. I've actually this year I got away from throwing a smaller jig and started throwing a bigger jig.
Okay.
Like
have you found success?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
See,
And
I feel like I have the co-angler mentality. Though.
My go-to jig prior to this year was a missile mini flip.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my go-to jig. I used to throw them all the time.
I personally like the missile jigs a lot myself.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty decent.
But
you're gonna catch me. You're gonna catch me with like
very
three
similar to this.
variations.
Smaller size.
I bought a bunch. Like I used to throw them too a lot because it's small.
Yeah.
Right? But man, I would get like 5 or 6 at a time where like
The weed guard would come out.
Yes.
So they had a batch.
Okay.
That was bad. Frank actually had the same issue. He
Okay.
contacted Missile.
Yeah.
And they sent him new
They
jigs.
send no ones.
Because
You
they
get one shot.
because they
You're
said
done.
they said they had a
Yeah.
they said they had a bad batch.
Okay.
And they took care of it. Like
Yeah.
he had like 7 or 8 of them that were that it just brand
they
new.
just pop
Like
out.
you could just pull it out with your hands. So they had a bad production run.
Okay. Oops.
But that was my go-to. So I actually started throwing a. So I've made my own jigs for a while. I've always made my own skipping jigs because I could never find So I used to. I have an Arky head
Stuff was
that a friend of mine makes. A Kenang.
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
Ken. He makes an Arky head.
Okay.
That's just a standard Arky head jig. So I was using that for a while because it skipped really well.
Okay.
And so I went back to one that I tried out many years ago, and it is the Lure Parts Online. It's the I think it's the Pro Brush Puppy jig.
Okay. Sounds like a smaller jig.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Okay.
I mean, 3/8 for the 4/0 hook, a half ounce with a 5/0 hook.
Yeah.
It's a normal size,
Okay.
a regular size. And that's not an oversized jig. It's just it's a regular size jig, and I make all my own skirts for the
Okay.
most part. I did get a little lazy this year, toward the end of the year, and I bought. I think I bought some 30 jig skirts that were already made.
Yeah.
They had a couple cool colors that I'm like for specific reasons that we won't get into.
Sure.
I was like, that will work on the upper bay.
Okay.
So like I just bought some skirts and made them, but mostly I make my own because I'm very, very simple in my jigs.
Yeah.
I either throw Magic Crawl or I throw black and blue.
Okay.
Like I really don't throw a whole lot of other colors. 90% of the jigs in my box are those 2 colors.
Yeah.
I'll change it. You change the trailer color, and you can make a lot of differences in there. But I went to that bigger profile jig, and noticed I started catching bigger fish.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, like let's keep running with this.
Yeah.
And then I started fishing a bigger jig more, started catching more fish.
Okay. So just building that confidence up.
And I don't know if it was building the confidence in it, or it was just that bigger profile happened to match the
Sure.
bait better.
Yeah.
But if, throwing a bigger jig, like I said, like you said, I always throw a smaller profile,
Yeah.
and I've caught a lot of big fish on small profile jigs.
And I think that kind of goes back to, I have to say, I usually fish as a co-angler for the most part. So I'm fishing behind guys, throwing a big jig, throwing a big Texas rig. So a smaller profile is, I don't know, I've found success in it across the board. The biggest thing I throw is a 5-inch Senko
Don't eat that.
for the most part.
Give me the pencil.
But yeah, I'm excited. I got some of the
Ow, asshole!
GRT jigs.
I will beat you.
This is that swim jig. Is he biting you?
Yeah.
It's his love language.
Okay.
He did not like that I took the pencil from him. So he bit me.
Paul,
The
this
GRT
is something you got to throw a swim jig this year, dude.
I have a whole box full
Dude,
of them. I throw them all the
I don't throw
time.
them either. I'll tell you what.
I've got some Mr. Scott's
Scuba,
jigs.
dude, Scuba throws some swim jigs. I'm not going to say what he throws, but Scuba likes throwing some swim jigs. There is definitely a time and a place for a swim jig. 100%.
I think that, so I was the same way. I never threw a swim jig because everyone else threw a swim
Midsummer, dude.
It wasn't because-
Midsummer, dude. The swim jigs.
I have
like,
no confidence
they
in
jig.
swim
excel,
Really?
dude.
But try fishing it in different. Like I've had a lot of success dragging a swim jig. And I'm not
tried.
like swimming it back all the time. Like so I spent a week on the Potomac
Just
practicing with Mike,
bottom contact.
just dragging it through the grass
Yeah.
with Mike Duarte.
Yep.
And we were both throwing a swim jig for the majority of the time. And he was catching them one way, I was catching them another. But then we'd pull up in areas and he would just catch them. And then we pull up another area and I was just catching them. But we were fishing it differently. So I think there is something to a different presentation, but knowing when and where is still escaping.
I can't. I have not had enough success with a swim jig to. I had so it's funny. I had 1 year where I had all the confidence in the world in a swim jig, and like I could just go out on the flats and just crack them on a swim jig.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, the next year comes and the grass gets up and it's the same time of year, and I'm like, swim jig time, and they won't touch
They
it.
won't eat it. Yeah, they won't even
And I'm
sniff
like,
it.
what's going on? Like, what is happening here? It's like the same exact conditions.
Sometimes it gets like that, though, you know?
And it just, well, and that ruined my.
Jeez, Martin, that was an early.
Look at that. I have some of that
That's there.
sheep too.
That is an early one. That's an early Colt model.
I can't even like zoom in on it.
I have some of that in that shape of the
shape,
Colt.
yeah. That's an early one.
Yeah, that's fun. That's pretty cool.
That is-
Hell yeah, boy.
I like that color.
Yeah, he wanted a June bug crankbait. He
Yeah.
wanted. So I was like, I'll give him my
It's-
best shot.
I mean, dude, there it is, bro. Like,
It's funny.
Yo, Martin would be the one to ask for the June bug crankbait, dude. Like,
So it's funny that you mentioned that, like, because that's one of the things that I've done with you multiple times, where I can't necessarily tell you what color I want,
Yes.
but I can kind of describe what I want, and you just get it, and you're
Just
like, I
put it
know
together.
what you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
And like I give you free reign, and next thing I know, I get a couple baits in the mail, and I'm like, perfect. Like that's exactly what I was looking for. I
Yes.
didn't say any of that, but that's exactly what I was looking for.
I mean, it's definitely easier with a reference photo, and I
For sure.
appreciate when there is a reference photo. But yeah, I mean, like for the most part, I don't like painting the bright, vibrant, outrageous colors as much. And I actually this is kind of
definitely
cool.
like a blackback chartreuse, something like that.
No, yeah, I do a lot of. I'll have to show you guys what I
Yeah.
brought, like the baits and stuff.
Can
before we
you
leave.
His
before
black back
you-
chartreuse
before
is
you leave,
my favorite crankbait, and the one he doesn't make anymore.
Before you leave, can you take whatever tubs of bait you have and dump them over top of me in the tub?
He just so he wants
I
to
just
swim in
wanna-
them like
yeah,
Scrooge.
I just want to be like Scrooge McDuck in the UMA crankbaits.
Zach, we can put that
just
as
for
the,
a night.
the Facebook cover page.
I
for
hope
the
they don't have-
UMA
Yeah.
Will be you like butt naked in the tub, just
Yeah.
covered in baits.
Yeah, you'll just see
That's
my
like-
penis sticking through all the baits though.
I just hope he does.
Wait, where are the warnings? Don't the warnings pop up when that happens?
I just hope he
Yeah,
doesn't.
exactly.
I just hope they don't have hooks in them.
Yeah, we're about to we're about to be banned off Facebook soon.
Yeah.
So, I even like when I've requested some brighter colors from you, like the chartreuse black bag, that was something that, like you did. That wasn't like one of your normal colors
Yeah.
when I first asked for it, and I noticed that like even
That's a
those
good
brighter
question,
colors,
Zachary.
you
Zachary's got a
mute
good
them.
question.
You mute them down a lot,
Yeah.
and it wasn't what I was thinking when I got it, and then I went out and fished it and was like, oh.
Yeah, it's
like,
like
oh.
I have gotten into some of the more chartreuse, like
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, like
exactly.
that. Like, and that's
That's
and it's
something
funny
new to
because
me too.
Yeah.
I will
have
say that like
always just stuck to the shad patterns.
this is what I was expecting,
Yes. Yes.
but what I got was even better.
okay, perfect.
That's what I'm trying to say. That
Yeah.
like
But I'm with you, man. Like I'm a naturalist when it comes to fishing. Like
Yes.
let me give the most natural presentation that I can. And I've been shocked to see how many times I've been paired with guys throwing fire tiger crankbaits and just cracking them.
Yep.
all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it, but I'm
Is
like,
it something that's just
That's funny.
different
So-
that they're keying in on? Like, because
So-
everybody else is like throwing the shad patterns. Like, what is it about throwing something with some char?
I don't-
Throwing something with some red in it that sets their bite off different from another bait?
I don't know. what it is about Fire Tiger.
Yeah.
But I told you me and Ron won that tournament in December.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just gotta say, Fire Tiger does not look like a damn crawfish around here. It
So
doesn't. They're not freaking on fire
Yellow perch.
red.
Yellow perch.
Yeah, yellow perch. I can see a
So
yellow perch.
I was throwing a perch colored, the perch color, not the yellow perch color Rapala.
Yeah.
A Rapala, let me pronounce it correctly, for anybody who might be watching. And that is the more vibrant colored perch color.
Okay.
You know, so the one that's got the bright,
Yes,
the bright
yeah,
orange.
Yeah.
So Ron pulls out this old rusty Fire Tiger Berkeley Frenzy. You remember the Berkeley Frenzy? It was like a shad wrap. It was like a shad wrap Berkeley made. He's like, oh, I don't have any shad wraps. He's like, but I got this. Let me tie this on. And then proceeds to catch fish on the ugliest color I've ever seen. Really? It was this ugly Fire Tiger color. But it's that Fire Tiger color. It's just, for some reason, it works. Now, Fire Tiger is very yellow perchy.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That is pretty cool. I didn't know that.
That is sick as shit.
I didn't know that.
So, Scuba Steve is dropping some juice right here.
Oh.
That is phenomenal.
This last color he mentioned.
John is talking.
That's
he's
my-
talking about Mr. Hansen.
Yes, that's one of my go-to colors on the Upper Bay.
Which is? No, just.
John Hansen.
Oh, the hot mud. Yeah.
That's one of my go-to colors on the Upper Bay when the water's dirty.
I had a guy. There was a color I painted. It was like a hot chocolate. I don't know if you ever seen
Hot
that.
chocolate.
It's
Yeah.
bone with a dark brown and then silver scale pattern on the top.
Interesting.
I met a guy practicing for the ABAs. I gave him a couple baits just to try. He ended up winning the Pennsylvania Bass Nation, whatever they had on the Potomac, and he had like 2 7-pounders and like this giant bag. And he was like, send me this picture of this bait. And it was just scratch. Like you couldn't even see the colors. It was just so scratched up. But I was like, that's awesome, man. But I love that color now.
So he crushed them on your week.
Crushed it.
Yeah.
And I was just, I paint that color. I don't paint it a lot, but when I do, I put it in my bag.
Right. I've definitely put your crankbaits to work in some tournaments.
That's awesome, dude. I don't get to fish a ton in tournaments these days, and I love to hear when people have success on something you make. You know,
if you ever just want to go out, you can always.
Yeah, I know.
Like if you ever get a chance, like.
It's tough though, man. Like I'm 2 hours from everything, so like.
Wait, what do you got up there?
Raystown's about 2 hours away.
Still 2 hours away.
Yeah, that's the closest thing. But there's like little lakes that I dump my boat in and just go mess around in. But yeah, I'm fishing the SQTs. I may actually fish them as a boater this year.
I'm still on the fence about the SQTs. I really want to.
Yeah.
Because two of the lakes that were.
Kind of
lakes that we're fishing
in the yacht
are right in my wheelhouse because, Conowingo that's probably going to be a largemouth tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
I'm sure.
Like that's different. That Yakagani tournament, Lake Smallmouth is like right in my like my wheelhouse. Oh my god! I will be in the middle of that lake live scoping, and this is going to be great.
That one will definitely be one live scoping. 100%. I think it was one the last time we were there live scoping.
Didn't Mike Kaiser want it?
It was Piles. Brandon Piles.
Brandon Piles won it?
He was live scoping.
Yeah, I know.
That was
I know Mike Kaiser did well in that tournament too.
Yeah,
I think he might have been second.
Mm-hmm. That was a weird one though, because it like.
But Brandon won with like 7 pounds.
I think he had like 10, but it wasn't. It wasn't much. It wasn't.
But, much. Which is odd because I know there's.
Hey, what's up, Brian?
There are big smallmouth.
Oh yeah, I talked to. There was a guy up there that fished. It's like a swim lake. He said as soon as they drop the water, it's tough.
Brian, if you want, just stop. If you see my truck at the house, just stop by.
Zach, I don't think I'll be at the electric Bassmaster one tomorrow. I'm gonna be at the one in Laurel, Delaware. For it's Brian Barnes, his Big Mouth
Lures.
Oh hell yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's gonna be a good one.
Speaking of that show, they had so much interest in that show that Brian doesn't even have a booth.
Really?
Yeah, they sold all their booths.
Thank you. Well, shout out Brian Barnes because I
hit
him up like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, dude, I need a table. Can you hook me
I
up?
hit him up. I hit him up the couple days ago about a booth. Nope.
Yeah.
Tell Brian. I
We
said I
will
didn't.
be at the MR Bass
I'm not
Exodus
gonna get a
fishing
chance to
show
go.
though.
I wanted to
Okay,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there.
I wanted to go down, but I just bought a new boat, and I have to earn some brownie points with
Yeah,
the
I
wife.
was
So
about to-
I have to go
I'll
to
let you
the Haverty Grace Ice Festival.
She likes the colors though. That's what
Yes.
matters.
But I can't drive to the Eastern Shore and then make it back by 3:00
That's
to,
true.
to,
That's
go
true.
there. So,
Oh,
I really wanted to go down. I've never got a chance to make it down to that show.
This is
I've
my
always
first year
wanted to.
doing it. I
Yeah.
think this is year 2 or maybe 3 of them doing it, but
I know they've been doing it for. I think
Next
it's
year,
3.
I will be. Bass and Beer Radio will attend at least 3 shows next year. I was late to the party this year. I'm lucky to get 1 to 2 spots this year, but
I
next
don't get
year,
a chance to make it to a lot of the shows.
well, it's weird. I wish they did them where like they all coordinated and have one each weekend. Like, why do they? I mean, I get it.
Like EBA having
Yes.
theirs this weekend
Yeah.
when Big Mal's having theirs.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, that's a pretty long distance away, but I don't. It's not the crowd coming in. It's the vendors.
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
fishing
exactly.
season ended. It doesn't ever end.
No.
But fishing season slowed down 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Brian's the man.
Yeah, Brian is cool. I like Brian a lot.
Yeah, Brian's a good dude.
What Brian are we talking about? Because I
All
like
Brians.
I like Brian Dyson too.
Did you ever meet Brian from Team Outcast?
Brian.
Never. He fished the SQTs every year. Barely.
Oh,
caught
from
any fish.
Outcast?
Yeah.
I
Big
think
guy.
so. Yes. I think I met him once.
Brian Webb.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Brian
yeah.
Webb was the best guy I've ever met in my life.
He is such a good dude. I got a funny story. So we're,
Yeah, you're kicking me out. I love
know,
it.
dude,
It's
because
like
Brian,
we have. So
have you met him?
do you remember?
maybe once.
Okay, he was hilarious.
So when Anglers Express was going out of business.
Yes.
So they're having like they're going out of business sale, like everything's for sale,
Yeah.
right? So I'm over there, and Brian shows up. Like
Yeah.
I'm over there buying way more stuff than I really like. I'm just buying random stuff because it's stupid cheap. So Brian comes in,
Brian
he's
Webb
walking
story.
around, and Eric has a TV sitting on one of the displays, and it's like a 40-inch Sony flat screen, and he goes, "Hey Paul, check this out. That's a pretty good deal. And it's like $40, right, for the 40-inch flat screen." And I turn around and go, "Hey Eric, you got the plug for this?" He's like, "Yeah, I got it right here." I was like, "I'll take it." So I didn't think anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Jim Goins calls me like later that day. He's like, "Dude, Brian is so mad at you." He's like, he was gonna buy that TV. I was like, well, then
Oh
he shouldn't
my
have
God.
brought me over and showed it to me.
That's funny. That is so funny, dude. I have so many stories, like just funny things that happen to Brian, and it's not his fault, but it just happens to this guy.
Why do certain things? It's like certain people just attract that shit for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so funny though.
I don't know.
Brian Dyson, Brian Barnes is the man. That is one of my Brian Barnes is one of my favorite people in bass fishing in this area.
Yeah, Brian Barnes is a great guy. Man, oh man, jeez.
And he makes great baits.
Yeah, I've never thrown him, but I heard I'm gonna pick some up. Hopefully he has some there. But the buzz baits and the spinner baits.
It's the only buzz bait that I throw.
Okay.
And for the most part, I pretty much only throw his spinner baits.
Interesting.
They are super light wire.
Yeah. I actually brought a light wire spinner bait
Yeah.
that I throw a lot. That
What
I
do you
mean, it's an older one. It's a Hank Parker
Oh, old school.
Snap.
with the I don't know if this is the titanium
Mans.
wire or the old. It's
That's
a real thin wire.
It's probably the piano wire one.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
look at that. Oh yeah.
I throw that one a lot.
Look, Paul's like, give me that.
Give me that. So I will. So
You don't even know what you're looking at, boy.
so Brian's spinner baits. His wire's actually lighter than that.
Okay. Then I gotta get some.
They're-
Because that's what I like.
They're
I like
they're super light wire.
Wow.
They're owner hooks. Good quality. They're
Mega Bass went spinner bait.
don't touch those mega bass pieces of junk.
Dude, they are phenomenal spinner
They're
baits, and
junk.
they have
They cost
not.
$18 for a spinner bait that does nothing different than the one that costs
they
$9.
catch fish. They're a light wire
Dude,
spinner bait.
I'm
They
mad
catch
at
fish.
I'm
dude.
mad at you, dude. I've asked to go fish. I've asked you to come on my boat and fish with me multiple times. And you haven't
You
been able
have?
to. Yeah.
When?
I hit you up last summer. I was like, dude, let's go fish Conowingo. I'm hopping in a tournament. I need a partner. You're like, oh, I got this HVAC stuff going on.
I remember that.
And then this winter, I was like, bro, let's go, man. Let's go fishing. Let's hop in this tournament.
Hey,
And again-
you can't be mad at me for going out and making money on the side.
No, I can't.
You
You
can't
gotta
be mad at
do your
that,
thing.
dude.
Brian, we don't talk about the Big Shaky on the show. That is
Paul doesn't talk about the Big Shaky on the show. We'll come
Chad-
back to that next
Wait, what did
weekend
I
when
do?
Paul's not here.
Chad doesn't talk about the Big Shaky because he doesn't know what it is.
Is that a chatterbait?
That's also true.
Wait, I got something. I do
might
want
be.
to share this because this is something that I've been
I'll make a Big Shaky.
fishing this for a couple years now.
I make a
and
big
I've
shaky
had
every
lot
time I
of
take a piss.
success with it, and nobody nobody throws this around here a lot. It's the
Oh, that's the swimming Senko.
swimming Senko, just like a swimming worm, but
Yep.
it's a swimming Senko. And I throw this behind guys that throw chatterbaits and crush them on it.
It's like
Crush
a
'em.
speed worm with a
Yes,
paddle tail.
it's
Yep.
just a beefed up speed worm.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But dude, and it's spring to fall. It's crazy.
What the viewers don't realize is that is the tackle box that he brings on the boat.
Yes, this is
It's-
basically it. There's
it's-
some hooks and some weights, but this is it. You got your drop. Like I'll never leave the boat without a drop shot.
Bro just broke out the robo worms right away.
Yeah,
know,
dude,
right?
never leave the boat without
Don't-
that. And then I throw the spark shad a lot. I always have a 3-inch swim bait tied on all year.
First of all,
spark
robo-
shots are hammer baits, dude.
They are good.
I
They're
like
expensive.
So like
Put
they're
those
expensive.
robo
and
worms away.
Yeah.
I think that the Mega
Yeah, the
Bass
color. I should have
plastic,
just said robo worm.
the Mega Bass
You
plastic
literally
is
just
very
put the
Yeah, we
you
just-
put the sticker right on the
It's
camera.
like, dude, the freaking juice is flowing out of the mouth.
I got
right now.
one more.
It's
I got
like-
one more, and then I'm done.
Dude,
So
he's got straight drool. Just says.
I can't tell you how I rig it, but I throw this worm a lot. It's
the ringworm.
well,
It's a zipper worm, but
it's a robo. It's an
Yeah.
old robo worm,
Yep.
zipper worm. Yes, but I throw this thing a lot in the spring, and it catches them, dude. I can't tell you how it's rigged, but
can I guess? If I
Sure.
guess, will you tell me?
I will. I don't know what I'll do, but if you guess, you'll be able to tell. There'll be signs.
Is it on a slider head?
I can't tell. I can't say, dude. I can't say. How did you know that? How did you know that? Is that not as secret as I thought it was?
Oh my
So
god! Like,
I will say that
You can't do that shit around Paul. Dude.
I know, I
You just
know.
can't. Like,
So this was kind of funny. 2 weeks ago on SFD's podcast, they're on there and like Mike is like describing this bait, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, and George just looks up like he was trying to think of the
Yeah,
name of it,
yeah.
right? And I just like spout out the name, and George just looks up and goes, "If you're ever in a trivia contest
Oh,
with
yeah.
Paul about baits,
forget
he will
about it.
take your lunch money."
Bro, that bait is on, or that hook head is unbelievable. That presentation is unbelievable.
So, I will on that same note about like knowing like just
Yeah.
like random things like Rob, Riverboat Rob, he's a huge tackle junkie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's into a
Is
lot
he?
of,
I didn't know that.
oh, dude, Rob is
Oh,
a
yeah.
massive
Yeah.
tackle junkie.
especially into like
huge.
like older stuff that doesn't really get fished
Okay.
anymore,
Yeah, yeah.
and kind of like off the just like hidden stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he like he's got stuff that like he
He's
thinks is-
dirty, bro. Like, he knows some shit, dude.
Like he's got stuff that like he's just like I don't like I don't think anybody knows this. And like we're standing by his boat one day and just like BS, and I'm looking at his rods and I'm like, oh yeah, they're da. And he's like, how do you know that?
Yeah. This is all stuff from like the 90s, dude.
I was
How do
like,
you know
well,
this?
that's when that's when I started bass fishing, right? Like I saw all that stuff.
Oh man, that the only reason
And then
I
he's like, no, I was like, I don't know anybody else that throws this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
come here.
Yeah.
And I just whipped out a whole box of them.
That's fun. Whenever I run out of because I inherited a lot of stuff from my uncle who fished the Delaware Bass Federation like the 80s, and when I run out of stuff, I go to Mr. Martin. I go to Richie Martin.
Richie
He's
Martin.
got everything that I've
Holy smokes! I'm sure he does. Like he's probably got a collection. I can't imagine the collection of baits that Richie has from over the years.
Yeah.
He's been. I think he told me he fished his first bass tournament in like 1976.
Oh, jeez.
Like he's still
crazy.
fishing tournaments today.
Yeah, yeah.
He's actually I think he's fishing the TBF this year.
Oh, is he? Okay.
So
Okay.
cool. Cool to have him back.
Dang, are
I
you
can't.
guys stealing all the state qualifying guys or what? Or
So
are they doing both?
not really. I guess I don't know if they're doing both. Like it's mostly the same. So what we got this year was we have the same 10 people that have always fished at TBF. So it's me and Frank and Danny and Zach and Steve Myers and JT Lang and all the normal guys.
Oh, Steve Myers, he fished SQTs last year. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
So
he won on the Upper Bay.
he did.
Yeah.
Yep. In the pond.
Yeah.
The Forbidden Zone.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah. The Forbidden Zone.
See, come on, you learn
So-
something.
Shut up!
So he our president Tom Gim has been working with Bass Legends
Okay.
for a few years now to try to because they're a TBF club.
Oh.
So they were
okay.
Pennsylvania TBF.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've been trying to come to Maryland because the Pennsylvania TBF tournaments tend to be like they have a lot of their tournaments in like New York.
Sure.
So we brought them in
Okay.
to Maryland this year, which brought in about the last count that I saw was about 45 members.
Wow.
So
okay.
not all of them are going to fish the trail.
Yeah.
But we're probably looking at having about as many boats as the SQT Trail has.
That's awesome.
this year.
That's good because it
So,
wasn't. It
we've done
used
a
to
lot.
be small.
Very small.
Yeah.
So we've we've worked really hard to make it a self-sustaining because it's been on the verge of collapsing for years.
Yeah.
Since Bill Sanders passed, was when he before Bill Sanders passed away, he was the president. It was relatively big then.
Okay.
You had 20 to 30 boats, and when Bill Sanders passed away, it kind of dropped off, and it was got down to that like 10 to 15 boats, and it was just kind of struggling to hand off or struggling to hang on, and so bringing this in, really. Makes it makes it a self-sustaining organization, and we're looking at probably having 25 teams because it is a team trail. That's the one thing that a lot of people like about it.
Why do they do the split up at the regionals?
So we do a team trail for the trail because it's easier logistically.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about doing draws and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's partner doesn't show up, they can just fish by themselves. You don't have to flip anything around. So it just makes it easier logistically. And then each state can do their trail however they want. Like Delaware does a draw trail. They don't do a team trail.
They have gotten rid of co-anglers entirely. It sounds like.
Well, the TBF's always going to have co-anglers because
Yeah.
they can't have boaters without co-anglers
Well,
in
I
the
guess
semifinal.
from what I understand, it was at least on the bass side of things, like they eliminated co-anglers from like clubs
Really?
because like guys were just hopping on like these guys' boats, and then next weekend they're out there in their own boat on the same spot.
That's jacked
And it's
up.
all those Eastern Shore rivers, so it's like you can't like run away from that stuff. It's like
Yeah,
the only thing there.
Dustin, Bill was a really great guy. Yeah, so Delaware, so they have their own thing. So Maryland does their own thing. DC does a draw. Their
Okay.
trail's a draw.
Yeah.
So we do a team tournament because one, it's easier logistically, and it's different.
Yeah.
Because you got the SQTs draw trail, right? Mm-hmm. These you can fish with your buddy. You can fish with your buddy all year. And it just works, and it's enjoyable, and we all have fun, and it gives you a different opportunity. So
Yeah.
we've kind of kept it like that.
Plug it, man. Plug it.
Trying
Yeah, I like it, man.
to get as many people in as we can.
You know what? I feel like there's a lot of tournaments that don't get.
We have the Martin that is already in the works.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is literally already in the works.
Already in
and
the works.
Been discussed with Middle River Bass.
Yes.
So don't you worry, sir. It's coming.
We are working on the finer details of it. Me and Chad were actually talking about that today.
I'm
So-
also opening a sports book as well for the Wednesday nighters.
Sports
So-
book.
yeah. So put your bets in. I can't cover everything, but we'll get the at least the solstice and the last one.
If Michael
Yeah,
Duarte
oh, yeah,
if Michael Duarte is fishing it, he actually pays negative money.
yeah.
You have if you bet on Michael Duarte, you have to pay Tyler.
Yeah, the juice
If Michael
is a
Duarte
lot.
shows up on one of the Thursdays, the point system goes to the side for that day.
Speaking of Mike, I actually got off the phone with him before I came over here. He had a.
Did you tell him you were coming on
Seventh
Beer
seventh
Radio?
place.
I didn't. It was
Okay,
quick.
well,
It was
look,
quick.
make sure you call him after this and be like, hey.
You should
Go
really
on,
go on.
Bessemer
You should really
He's
go on.
not a podcast
I
guy,
know,
dude.
dude.
He's
I
not.
know. I know he's not. He's such a nice guy.
He is.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's a
great.
really, really nice guy. But like, dude,
Yeah.
I would give him my bank account to come on the show.
He's not a podcast.
I
The-
know, dude. Like,
You were saying. I meant to say something at the beginning of the show for that, just to give him a shout out. 7th place finished in the Toyota Series on
killed it,
Okeechobee.
dude. He absolutely killed
Killed
it. Yeah, Michael is a hammer. I'm gonna tag him in the comments.
That's such a confidence thing. Like first tournament of the year, you do well. Like going into the year.
I will again, going on the record, say something maybe semi-controversial.
Oh.
Michael Duarte, one of the top 5 co-anglers in the country.
Absolutely.
Two of the other top that would be in my top 5 are also local anglers.
David Williams.
And why can't I think of the guy that fishes with Mike Centaur all the time.
Oh, Sean McKay.
Sean McKay. Sean McKee.
He hasn't been putting up numbers recently.
He's been fishing his boater a lot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's okay. Because I look for
Put him on the back.
name that I
Put him
see.
on the back of a boat. That dude is deadly on the back of a boat.
I was listening to something. It was some pod. Maybe it was a smallmouth.
Also,
pro.
a super nice guy.
I've never met him, but he seems very even, level-headed.
Super
But
nice guy.
I've never put this into practice, but he gave out some really cool information about like fishing for smallmouth as a co-angler to keep different size weights in your pocket, and you want to have a heavier weight than your boater. So because by the time, everything's changed now with forward-facing sonar, but by the time your boater saw a fish on the graph, that fish was already back by the back of the boat.
Right.
So you get down as fast as you could, and you have a chance to catch that fish.
Yep.
Which those smallmouth tournaments are hell for co-anglers.
Yeah, and especially especially when you're, I'm assuming he was talking about the St. Lawrence where you're doing a lot of drifting, which forward facing sonar is definitely dominates, but from
the back,
that's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
He's a pretty funny dude.
That is funny.
But yeah, I can see that being, when you're fishing a place like that where you're drifting, like you're not, if you're fishing closer to, downriver, where,
Waddington?
no, but the next one where
The Bay?
where no farther downriver away from the lake, where MLF launches from.
Alexandria?
No, they're way
Past Waddington's as far as I've been.
They're way down the river.
Messina.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're up in that area, like sure you can live scope, but it's a 4 mile an hour current up there.
Yeah.
So you're never like
unless you have it.
If you see a fish on live scope, like you have say you see it at 100 feet out, you got about 6 seconds to cast to that fish.
Yeah. Well, I spoke with. I actually live pretty close to JP Harrell. I don't know if you've.
Yeah, I know
fished
JP.
with him.
JP,
He's a great co-angler as well.
JP whipped my ass off the back of my boat on the
He
Potomac.
is good, dude.
He caught his PB on my
Oh, he did.
on my boat on the
Nice.
in an SQT on the Potomac one time.
He
caught
just,
it was like 7.4 or something like that.
Gee, oh yes, and did he get lunker or somebody else did?
No, he got lunker.
Oh, that was the tournament. Kyle Slamba weighed in like a 7.2, and he was all hype at the ramp. He was like the first boat in, and then I saw him like 50 minutes later, and he was like slowing over. I was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Someone weighed in a 7.4, dude."
Yeah, he caught like a 7.5. It's like a 7.5 pounder on the back. It was funny because we were fishing one bank. I was just going up and down this one bank. It's just gravel. It's a gravel bank, but there was like a junk pile.
Okay.
Like of wood out out on the point, and like we made like 4 passes, and I fished that. I fished that pile.
Yeah.
Every single time, like we come up the 4th pass, and like I'm fishing it, I'm flipping it. Put my jig down, pick my Carolina rig back up, and I start casting to the little point that's out there. He throws a bitsy bug in there and catches a freaking 7.5 pounder.
Yeah, he everything's downsized.
And he's
very good.
The funniest part about it was for anybody who knows JP, he's the most like cool person like ever.
Like he'll laugh about something crazy that's going on.
he hooks a 7.5 pounder and he goes, I think I need the. It always says, I think I got one. I think I need the net. Like in the calmest voice ever. And I turn around and look, and a mouth like this big comes out of the water. I'm
great. Dude.
I'm like diving over, diving like into my boat to like get the net.
What's up, Larry? Thanks for joining us, brother.
That's funny.
And like we get it in, and he's like, oh man, that's a pretty nice fish. That's a pretty nice fish. I was like, dude, that's like a 7 pounder.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you think so? I was like, he's like, that'd be the biggest fish I caught. I was like, that fish is definitely over 7 pounds.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's always in the top. He's always in the mix. Yeah. Last year was his best year. I think he won co-angler of the year.
He's a very methodical and simplified fisherman.
Yes, but he likes his JDM stuff, dude.
He does.
He's
does
a big
like JDM
stuff. Guy. He's a big.
But he keeps things simple.
Yeah.
And he fishes very methodically, and he like even behind me, like I'm burning traps down a bank for the most part. I would burn down this bank, burning a trap, and then I would turn around, burn back up. I would fish the point with the Carolina rig, turn around, and right back down the bank, burning a trap. I was catching fish. But like he's behind me. Where I'm burning a trap, he's worming a trap.
He definitely he's good. He's gotten the co-angler part of it down where like
slowing it down.
Let me do something different than my angler.
Like he's still throwing and that brings up a really good point of when you're in the back of the boat, doing something different doesn't necessarily mean throwing a different bait.
Exactly.
Because we were essentially throwing the same exact bait. We were both throwing Excaliburs.
Yeah.
And he was throwing a different color, but the way that he was fishing it was totally different than the way that I was fishing it.
I think
he was fishing it very slow, just crawling it on the bottom, where I'm burning it.
Yeah. And I think that's tough for like a lot of guys who are on the co-angler side, where it's like I see my boater catching fish. And I don't have any fish yet, and they already have 3. I need to do something. So let me pick up exactly what they're throwing and do exactly what they're doing. And they don't. It's hard to do that.
It is hard, but like if your boater's whacking.
If they're catching like 5 to your 1,
you definitely need to. You definitely should be putting on the same bait.
Yes, I agree with that.
I mean, I have a perfect example. I had a club tournament, and I was pretty dialed in on the Upper Bay for catching fish. Like not a problem catching. Like I know I'm going to catch a limit. Like I have an area where I know I'm going to catch a limit. So I started out in the main flat, where I knew there were some bigger fish, and I catch two out. I catch two decent ones out there, like 3.5 pounders. Tide comes up, bite stops. I look at my co-angler, in my club, my friend Mac, and I said, we're leaving. We're going over this other spot. I'm going to catch my limit, and we'll come back here later. He's like, how do you know you're going to catch a limit?
Yeah.
I was like, trust me.
Yeah.
Like we're going to go over here. I'm going to catch a limit. We'll be fine. So we get over there, and I knew I was going to catch a bunch of chatterbait over there. I go over there, and 10 casts, I catch a limit. Yeah. So I catch 3 more keepers and 10 casts, and in my mind there were only, from my practice it was only like 2 to 2.5 pounders.
Sure.
Like that's all I was catching in practice. Come to find out, like one of the other guys in my club caught 19 pounds in the same area.
Same spot. Yeah.
So we go over there and we catch a limit, and I'm whacking them on a chatterbait. Like I'm catching probably 1 every 2 to 3. Martin was out there that day. Actually, Martin was with Tony out there in the same area. He watched the guy catch 19 pounds.
Old Tony boy. We're missing Tony tonight.
Where is Tony, man?
So he's got 3
He could definitely be tuning into this right now, but I haven't seen a comment from him.
Yeah.
He's definitely sad he's not here. I can tell you that.
He tuned out after the Wiggle Work comment, making him the rock.
So I'm catching him on a chatterbait, and I said, Matt, put on chatterbait. And he keeps throwing. He was throwing a cutter worm.
Okay.
And he keeps throwing a cutter worm.
Yeah.
And keeps throwing a cutter worm. And I'm like, Mac, I'm not staying here that much longer. Put on a chatterbait. So finally, like 5 minutes before I'm ready to leave this spot, he puts on a chatterbait and catches 2 in like 5 casts.
Oh,
but like it's one of those things. Like he was so into that. I need to do something different than what you're doing. That like he didn't pick up on it. Yep.
I got fully caught up on that last year in the Thursday Night 3 Doors.
Doing something different.
Doing something different. I knew where the fish were, but I refused to go and place myself in the same area as 8 other boats and fish the same grass because I was just like, there's got to be fish somewhere
Well, and
else. Never one time did it pay off for me. So it's just like.
So that's also a tough thing to do. It's sometimes it's a tough thing to be able. I hate fishing in crowds.
You have to swallow
evil.
Sometimes you have to just swallow your pride or whatever it is, and you just have to do it.
Yeah.
But fine, you can always like if you ever see me in a crowd, like if your mug's the crowd, like that's where most of the boats are. You're gonna see me. You're gonna see me out here, over here, over here. I'm never smack dab in the middle.
And I get that.
You want to hear some juice that some
That
old
doesn't
guy
always
told me?
pay off either, though.
He said if you're fishing around a crowd, circle. Because all those boats, all those trolling motors, everything, pushing those fish, it's dispersing them from the school.
Right.
So I don't mean that if that's like...
Dude,
No, you're right on.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Martin, that's a great way to put it, man. I like that.
I wasn't gonna. I wasn't gonna come out and say it, but yeah. That's exactly what it is. Because especially when they start getting on their trolling motors, you know, if the bite's
You got
slow,
4 boats in one
just-
particular
It's
area.
dispersing the...
Pushing the bass out from the
If you think
vibration and the noise.
if you think 4 boats is a lot, you know, get May on the flats where it's
Yeah.
where it's 100
Back
boats.
channel
Well, I mean, I'm
is
just talking about the Thursday
insane,
night three
dude.
fish because that's what we
Yeah.
cover. But the gunpowder fish is so small when you have 20 or 25 boats.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
insane.
sure.
Okay, here's a question for you. What is the reason that the flats took so long to get hot last spring?
The flats,
Yeah.
grass.
There was grass There was grass from last year on the flats and on the back channel.
That never
winter.
died.
Yeah,
The grass on the back channel came up earlier.
but it was always out there.
So think about this. If there's no grass on the main flat and that grass is there from the wintertime, where are the fish going to be?
But there was. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what it was, but I talked to a bunch of guys. They said that there's so much grass out there in like March, like early March.
There was, so I can tell you that me and Frank spent nearly 3 weeks pre-fishing for the Mr. Bass tournament last year. There wasn't any grass out there.
On the flat?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they were just talking about back channel.
The back channel
had a ton of grass.
had a ton of grass. So, and it was up early, like
Yeah.
in March.
Yeah.
So out on the main flat, there was nothing.
nothing.
It was just that black, stringy,
Yeah.
stuff. Now there were some fish.
Snot.
There were some fish out there, but it wasn't like the back channel flat was covered in milfoil.
Yeah.
I mean, just covered in milfoil. So that where in that tournament, like I never left the back channel flat in that tournament.
Yeah.
Except to go up in the river. I did go up in the river to try to catch smallmouth. They weren't running enough water, and it just didn't work. I ended up catching a 25-pound striper on a jerkbait.
Oh yeah, I heard the story. Was that last week?
That was no, yeah. I might have told that last week. Yeah, that was in Mr. Bass. That was in Mr. Bass this year.
Okay.
My co-angler was like, "That's the biggest striper I've ever seen." Shoot, what is his name? I can't. We roomed next to him on the chop tank for the Mr. Bass on chop tank a couple years ago. I can't. His name is Mike, I think. Bigger guy, real tall. I mean, super tall, bigger guy.
Van Leen?
No.
Oh, that's
No, not Van Leen. No,
is a younger kid?
No, older guy.
I don't know. Martin, help us out here, bud.
I will tell you.
Yeah, come on, Martin.
Grass was crazy up there this spring on Back Channel. GP never got
Being
going.
very ornery, Mr.
So the GP.
Like a sheep herder.
So I don't know what I don't know what happened on the GP this year, but there was like nothing outside the bridge.
Yeah.
Like there was no grass whatsoever outside the bridge this year.
I'm actually making.
There wasn't a shitload of grass inside the bridge.
And inside the bridge, like the big flat right inside the bridge.
I never really fished down there. I'm actually going out there next weekend with a guy.
He's like, bro, like, first off, I'll be your guide and I won't charge you.
I've been asking him to go fishing with me for 6 months. So.
You did it like
I won't hold my breath.
I don't even. First off, it might have been the beer, but I don't even remember
I'm
these
just kidding.
things.
I'm messing with you.
So you're going out to the gunpowder?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I think we're launching out of Joppa though.
Dude, you're just trying to
You're
do
gonna
that. You're just trying to take my money in this three first, bro. Like,
Well, I think one of the SQTs is out of there, so I just kind of want to get the lay of the land.
Stop. It's out of
No.
Dundee.
Out of Dundee, but like I don't really fish down there a ton.
I want you there for
when
some
is-
of the 3 first.
I'll try and get to some.
I'll pay.
Are you fishing? If you,
We're gonna pay you.
I'll help you out with this.
Okay, all right. I guess I really.
If I'm
just
not
need to
fishing,
know how to,
if I'm not fishing, then like,
manage
you're gonna drive.
maneuvers
So
through.
you're gonna drive right by my house if you're on a drop down.
Okay. Okay.
When you're coming on like when you turn off a 40.
Gentle, we're live on Facebook.
I'm just saying when you turn off a 40 as you're driving up.
I'm just saying, don't tell everybody where your house is. Like,
Yeah, but all 10 of our viewers are not.
Hey, guess what?
we had 20 earlier.
did.
Like, it's,
I
Your
scanned
address
them
is
all
public record.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
can look up your name and get your.
Hey,
address.
I'll tell you,
I mean,
you can have my record.
So anyway.
It's on every shipment of UMA Lord.
listen, I'm just telling you right now, if
Possibly.
you show up at my house, we beefing.
So when we
Straight up.
so when you're driving up that main drag, just look over to the right. You'll see my boat sitting in the driveway.
Okay.
Like
okay.
it's the second house in off the main drag. So
You-
Oh, nice.
can
You
see
want
it.
9 or 45?
If you want to stop,
tell me.
by, if you see my truck there, if you
Yeah,
want to stop
I
by,
will.
just let me
I
know.
will.
Or just give me.
I'll drop some baits off.
There's a strong possibility I'll
You
be
want my
out.
address, bro?
There's a strong possibility I'll be out breaking.
Oh,
up today.
nice.
So,
Nice.
There
I'm
was
just
a
glad to
deadhead
get
wall
out.
right in the channel under the train bridge last weekend. Was there? I didn't go under the train bridge last weekend. I took the guy who bought my Champion out for a test drive, and I just ran out to the train bridge and then over to the Bird River.
Martin,
And-
was that your boat or was that Clint's boat that you went out in?
That was Clint's.
Was it
Was it
red?
Clint? It was
yeah,
red.
that was Clint's boat. That's a great story right there in itself. And
Have you ever heard that story?
one day, I don't know.
Next time you talk to Martin,
Yeah.
have him tell you the story of
I
buying
don't
Clint's
know
boat.
if Clint is
It's
still watching,
hilarious.
but by the grace of God and
Send those pics over
by
to me,
hitting
Martin.
the lottery,
I would.
maybe Clint will come on the show one day, but probably not. It would be
Hey,
like
you
hitting
never
the
know.
lottery ticket straight up.
Yes, Martin, you do.
But it's a phenomenal story that Martin and Clint have
So-
for picking up that nitro.
Martin,
It's a
send me.
great story.
Martin, send me those pictures because I would really hate to run my brand new Skeeter into a giant log.
Got your hand,
Dude, I have had Bubs. No.
Dude, I heard the best story I've ever heard in my life, and it was from Brian Trishman.
Trishman's got some great
Oh
ones.
my! It was the funniest, and I know I'm gonna butcher it, but I gotta try and say it. So it wasn't actually him; it was his brother or his brother-in-law. They were coming back from Ocean City, and
Hit that like and that share button, everybody. Let's get some more people up in here. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Let's go.
so they're coming back from Ocean City, and they're like, "Man, we're starving. We gotta get some food." So they drive by like this church, and they see like a food truck and like a bunch of people out there, and they're all like lining up and whatnot. So they stop and they park and they get out and they get in line, and they're like, it's self-serve, so there's a bunch of stuff they're like putting it on there, and they get to the end. They get to the end of it. They get to the end of the table, and there's like, "Oh, how much is it?" And the guy's like, "I don't know. This is a family reunion." I'm like, and you know how Brian is. He just like this. He's like, "What?" Like how he tells stories. I was dying, dude. That
I
was
can see it.
funniest
That's
thing.
perfect.
I cannot even focus right now on what's going on.
That's hilarious.
I don't know, man. It was all black people too at that thing. It was
That's
just,
funny,
Just
that's
your
funny.
generic like family reunion. They're just trying to have a good time. These white folk come up and they're like, "Hey, can we get some plates? Can we get some plates?" They're like, "Yeah, man, hop on in."
That's funny.
It's like, damn.
Only Brian.
Yeah.
What
that's
is
so
this?
funny.
What is this honky talking about?
Oh man. Too
Oh,
funny.
Brian is a honky too.
He is. He's a great guy. I like
Yeah,
Brian.
I really like Brian.
Oh man, we have our first club tournament on Lake Anna on the warm side in a couple weeks.
Wait, which club are you in?
It is Deep Run.
Deep
Interesting.
Run.
Deep Run.
Okay.
I may have been down there 2 weeks ago.
I know. I saw you cracked a big bag, didn't you?
I did.
I-
Almost 22 pounds.
Yeah,
I've
maybe
only been down
a
there.
big bag, one of the biggest bags that's ever come out of freaking the hot side of Lake
Yeah,
Anna.
yeah, for
Like,
real. Yeah, I think I had.
Look at him with his little smirk on his face over there right now. Like, yo, he's literally sitting
Like,
there.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
Bro, that's funny. That is funny. That's cool though, man. Because I went down the first time ever. Had no idea what to expect. I think
great.
I had 14 pounds.
That's a good bag.
Or 15 or 14, and then like 13 the second day. And I ended up winning. And I was like, but you hear all these stories of guys like catching like 6s and big fish on the warm side.
when I posted, I don't know if you saw in the comments, but when I posted the pictures from that day that me and Frank had down there, one of the women that fishes the Upper Bay, posted a picture down there and said, I caught my PB on the hot side in February last year, 8.8.
Wow.
Shoo.
Wow.
Dude, what a tank.
That's a big fish, dude.
Yeah.
It was on Rico too.
Fish,
Was it really?
Yeah, in February.
In February, of course.
Shut up!
That must have been up.
You shut up!
Then, right?
They'll eat topwater in
Everywhere?
Yeah. I've caught them down there. So I actually
It's 68, like 70-degree water.
Well, that was.
So
where,
I caught.
Yeah.
I actually. So not this year, but last year, I caught one on.
Sammy.
I caught one on topwater in the farthest pool away from the discharge.
Yes.
In
That's
40
where I usually fish.
48-degree water.
Yeah, that's when I went down there. That's what I looked for. Something like cooler water where they're still pre-spawn.
I got some. I'll give you some.
All right. All fair.
I'll give you some juice for down there. It's not going to make a whole lot of sense on the show when I'm pulling up a map and showing you things. So.
Well, here, that's a good idea. Maybe.
What are you pulling out?
Yeah, when we get done, I'll show you.
I gotta. Well, let me. Well, yeah, I'll show you later.
Wait, hold up. We're talking about a map because I can pull up page number 2 and go on Google Maps right now.
No.
Oh man, dude! But I gotta get down to some of those. What is it? Thursday
nighters, yeah.
Dude, the Thursday night threefers?
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Fishing till 9 and then having to drive.
It's a long hike to come down there for 3 hours of fishing, dude.
I do.
I
My
totally
mom,
understand.
My mom lives in Delaware, so when I fish the Upper Bay, I usually do a day of practice, stay with her, and then. So I have a.
Where are you located?
That would still be a. I mean, that was
Where?
Waynesboro, Pennsylvania.
That would still be a haul.
What is that?
Yeah,
Is that like an hour and a half?
It's like hour 45.
Hour 40.
Almost 2, depending on traffic.
That's a haul for a 3-hour tournament.
Oh, dude, it's a haul for a 2-hour podcast. But I'm just kidding.
Sometimes we do 3-hour podcasts, okay?
Oh, man.
Yeah, definitely watch out for that.
But like, bro, straight up, you've been a supporter. You've been a supporter of Bass and Beer Radio from day one, and I really can't thank you enough for that, man. I hit you up and talked to you a couple times, and right away you were just like, I believe in what you guys are doing. I like what you guys are doing. And you sponsored us, and you've been sponsoring us from day one. And I hope you'll be a sponsor with us till the end of time.
Me too.
And I love what you're doing. I love your baits. I'm so grateful for our partnership. And I really can't thank you enough for supporting us.
I'll tell you what. I like the fact that we kind of came about at the same time. So we get to see each other grow and kind of help each other out in that aspect. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, dude, I like we talked about a little bit before. There's really nothing like this, like in the area.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you guys talk about local spots, tournament results. That's so cool. I don't think there's enough of that. I'm sure there's some. Like you can go on Facebook and see the local results, but like it would be cool to get the winners on and talk about
Yep.
Yeah.
And we do try to do that for the Thursday nighters.
Yeah.
We've been doing great. Like I said, when we were talking down in the basement earlier, I'm going to drop a little bit of juice right now. I'm not going to give you guys any names, but Bass and Beer Radio is booked up with guests for the next 2 months.
Ish, yeah.
That's crazy.
With people to come
crazy.
on this show. For the 7 people that are watching, every Friday for the next 2 months, we have hammers coming on this show to straight up talk to you guys
and
about
not just
juice
hammers,
and everything.
And not just hammers. We have
Local
some good
hammers.
We have some good educational stuff that's going to that everybody can use.
Everybody.
That's coming on. It's not necessarily just some local people. We have some local people coming on. We have
elite pros. We have FLW pros.
We have some pros.
We have local pros.
We have some good people coming on for some knowledge for off-season maintenance. We have
Oh
some,
yeah, big time.
You know?
Yep.
So,
We will announce that shortly.
we have some stuff in the pipeline that's going to be really good that will hopefully give you some some good helpful tips and some good educational value.
Yeah. We
to bring to the Bass and Beer Radio.
We really have
before we get to tournament.
Yeah.
We're still in winter mode. We're still 2 months out. February, March.
Taking,
We're like 2 months out from tournament season. So
Yeah.
taking ourselves outside of Bass and Beer Radio, there's people coming on this show that as an outsider, that from myself in perspective, that I would want to listen to for some of the freaking juice that we have coming up, for some of the local waters and stuff that we have coming up. We got guys that are that have been fishing the Bush River, the Gunpowder, the Flats, Conowingo for years and years, that have met that pro status, that have their own shops, that do from A to B to C, coming on this show that can give us some real juice about what we have going on in our area. Mm-hmm. And I'm really, really excited to have these guys come on. And then it goes beyond that. It really, really, really goes beyond that. We got guys from tackle shops to bait developers to...
Martin, I won't be on that episode.
I have the second biggest swim bait page on Facebook.
Really?
The owner of the page is willing to come on the show and talk to us about swim baits.
That's awesome.
I've got, we're tapping into several different avenues here, from pro elite fishermen to swim bait developers to balsa wood crankbait developers, and we're going all over the map. We're covering from A to Z in the fishing community, and I'm just really hyped about what 2024 has to offer us.
You know what's funny about what Martin just said? Martin.
No.
I have personal beef with that person, and he
tag him.
He doesn't even.
You won't add him.
You won't tag him right now. Like
he doesn't. I'm 99% sure he doesn't even know I exist.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Tag him as much as you want. He won't come on here.
That's so funny.
Just from fishing tournaments on the Upper Bay, I have personal beef with that dude, and
he's moved out of here. He's not
has
around
no
here.
idea.
He's not around here anymore, though.
No, he is full time in New York now.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
He's
up there doing his thing.
Riley from the Bait Cave.
Yeah, I have thought about reaching out to the guys from the Bait Cave. I have more recently been a guest on their show.
Oh, you have? Can we get a link to that?
The Bait Cave?
Yeah.
I'll send a link to the Bait Cave. You
Okay.
want to check out the Bait Cave?
Yeah, I want to check it. If you were
You
on the show?
were a guest on their show?
No.
Oh.
No,
I
was
thought that's
not.
what he said.
No,
I was
no.
recently on the Bait Cave. Oh, the website.
Just tuning into their live stream.
Oh, I got you.
okay.
I got you.
Just tuning into their
It
live stream.
sounded like you were
I'm
like...
sorry.
sounded like you
Where
were
did that
on it. I'm like,
no,
I didn't know about this.
No, I have never been on the Bait Cave.
Chad holding back on
I
it.
have watched their show and just been like, "What's up, y'all? It's Chad from Bass and Beer. You guys have a cool stream."
That's funny.
And then they like call me out on everything. But I will tag the Bait Cave in here.
That's funny.
If it will allow me to.
That is funny. Well, did you ever... Who's the girl that always says start recording?
Oh,
Start
Megan.
recording?
So
It's
Megan,
late now, but...
this is random fact. Megan, who is trying to start getting into bass fishing, came to her first club meeting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So she's a new potential member for River Rats.
That is cool.
Yeah, I don't know. So I have a battery powered keyboard and mouse, and both of them are failing right now.
Well, I'll tell you what. I am...
That's why
this is a
gamers
little-
never use battery-powered keyboards.
You know what? Do you remember how many wires we had coming across
I did.
this table at first? It was terrible.
Yeah.
I had to eliminate it.
Yeah, there's a...
Oh, there is a crankbait stuck to my
Yes, be
arm right
careful,
now.
dude. The
Yeah, you
How
got to have
about-
sharp hooks on there, bro.
I had my girlfriend brings her dog over, and when she stays with me, and the
Thanks, Dan.
we went to a show for like the day basically, and we came back, and the dog was just covered.
What's up, Mr. Hall?
Nah, dude.
Covered.
Are
Like,
you serious?
and somehow there was not a single hook that pierced the skin.
it was just
It was
all
just
his
in the
fur.
fur. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude!
And I
Could
was
you
like,
imagine?
You're lucky that nothing got in you. But it was like we sat there for hours with scissors, dude.
Cheers, Greg.
Mr. Greg Hall.
Bro, I'm buzzing right now because I got my freaking one of my favorite boys on the show right now. The juice is flowing. We've had it, like, dude.
It's sitting at the house right now, Greg. It's got. You're welcome to come for a ride. I got about 10 hours. I gotta put on it without any.
2 hours of idle.
There's more than that. 2 hours of idle, but there's
2
about
hours
10
of idle, and then after that,
It's-
to a certain RPM for so much time.
It's still 10 hours of break-in.
It's still 10 hours of break-in. Either or, I don't know.
And it will definitely be broken properly because I spent way too much money on that boat.
Yeah, don't cut any corners for that, I'm sure.
We are not.
Send it.
Nope. Nope. We are doing Yamaha recommended everything.
But I mean, dude, I'm buzzing tonight. This has been one of my favorite interviews so far. Man.
I'm glad, dude, because
we
I
have
enjoy
had-
watching the show a
Bro,
lot.
we have had so much fun tonight just talking about different stories and the baits and what we went through today. And it's just been a really great show full of a lot of laughter and just that's what we look for, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about every Friday.
That's what, and honestly, like every time I get on somebody's boat, I try and have a good attitude, and I like to make light of everything.
Bro,
I can-
you are the most lighthearted person
Yeah.
I might have like. You
I can
are
attest-
just the
I can
most
attest for that.
easygoing person.
Let's just go out and have a good time.
Yeah, I think you
I
can.
can
Like,
I
he's
can
like,
attest for that.
yeah, like
I
Paul,
almost killed him.
Paul took this dude's head off, and he's like, "Let's just go fish." He's like,
He said, "Can you get the boat started?" Yeah. I was like, "Let's go fish."
Yeah. Dude, because honestly, it's like my time is so limited these days. Like I'm a dad. I'm in a relationship. We have a bunch of kids, and when I get to go fish, that's what I'm doing. You know, I work a full-time job. I do this on the side, and when I get to go out fishing, that's what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what else
your
is
girlfriend?
going. Yeah.
I will tell
Oh,
you.
thank you. I'll let her know you said that.
You always have an open invitation
Oh,
on
well,
my
I
boat.
appreciate it. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
anytime you want to go fishing, hit the Upper Bay. If you don't feel like pulling your boat down here, you just want to drive down for the day.
drop it here, pause, whatever. Whatever you want to do.
All right,
Yeah,
sounds
whatever.
good.
Whatever. Yeah, you're always welcome on my boat.
I like it. I'm definitely gonna have to.
Tony keeps his boat here for some of the Thursday night threefers.
Oh, he does?
Yep. He
Okay.
keeps on the side of the
Where's
garage.
Tony live?
Whitehall,
Okay.
So Tony's
kind of.
Tony stays in a couple different places. He stays at his mom's
Where does
house
Tony live? No,
sometimes,
where does Tony stay?
and then
Yeah,
sometimes he stays at the barracks in Happy
Okay,
Days
okay.
when he's up there. So it depends on where he's coming from. If he's staying at the barracks, he keeps his boat here at my house.
Okay.
So that he can make the Thursdays on his way through.
Sure. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes
But
sense.
that is, I'm dead ass serious, dude. I don't give a shit if there is 6 freaking bass boats in my driveway. If you guys need to park your boats here so we can go and fish the Thursday nighters, it is open. Let's do it. This is a good neighborhood. It's a safe neighborhood, and yeah, man, I want the attendance for the Thursday nighters to just be.
What's the big
at an
one? The
all-time
solstice?
peak.
The solstice.
The
Yeah,
solstice is big.
that's the first one. That's
Was
the
it
kickoff.
35?
Wait, I think we had like 35 boats last year.
35 boats last year, dude. That's a big 3-hour tournament.
Yeah, that is.
You know, and for a 3-hour, $50 tournament, you know, I mean, that's a pretty decent payback.
Yeah. We're the
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about the first one, and that was I don't know. There was a question like the winner won more money doing that than like an ABA or close to it or
I want to say it was.
something similar
He
around
said
those.
sign up starts at 6 a.m. My ass. The
So-
first person in the freaking lot is there, and that's about it.
I'll be there.
So
the
that
morning
table
of.
ain't set up for the solstice until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And you know it.
So, I think I want to say that the winners last year took home like $600, like $600 or something like that.
Oh yeah, dude.
For
that
a,
was
for a
big
3 hour
check
Thursday
for
night
a
or
3 hour
something.
tournament.
That's crazy,
dude.
but that's good because there's not a lot.
It may have been more than that. You know, Greg would know better, but I know that
Dude,
like
Greg, all the Thursday nighters are fun, brother.
one of the ones that I won last year, I won Lunker and won the tournament, and like it was just a regular Thursday nighter, and I got like $500.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
For 3 hours.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. So, and we're going to introduce a point series to the 3 hour Thursday night three first this year.
Are you letting that out of the bag?
We talked about it earlier.
Kind of.
We talked about it.
We said it was
earlier.
we said it was in the work.
It's in the works. We're introducing. It's in the works to a point series for the Thursday night three first for the guys that are going to consistently show up.
Well, for anybody who wants to consistently come, we're thinking of just a one-time side pot for it, yes, Greg, we'll keep track of it.
Yeah, we're on top of it. We're going to keep track of all of the points.
So the idea that would be like. It would be like 10 of the tournaments. Maybe you have a couple throwaways,
Yep.
or something like that. One time you pay in one time. So
If we can get,
and then the winner would get a trophy and some money at the end of the year.
And a Bass and Beer radio sticker.
And always
Oh, yeah.
a Bass and Beer radio.
always
Because they're
Bass Beer
free.
Radio sticker. So, like, dude, straight up,
In
I
fact,
have a buddy of mine that has a CNC
if you have
machine.
to,
Oh, nice.
if you want to be in that, you have to have a Bass and Beer radio
That's
sticker
right.
on your boat.
That is, I kind of told you guys last week when I posted that sticker thing, which, by the way, it's been a weird week at work for me. I haven't got a chance to ship those stickers yet. I will ship those stickers this week or this weekend when I get the opportunity to do it. I have everybody's address that has sent it to me. I will get you guys your stickers as soon as I possibly can. This spring, I have a great feeling that you guys are going to need those stickers for some of the giveaways that we have planned going out there.
If you want to just pick up some stickers, Chad will be at the MR Bass Flea Market in March.
I will be at the MR Bass Flea Market
Nice.
in March up there in Essex.
I will also be there, but I'm going to be selling stuff, so stop by my table
Yep.
and pick up some juice.
I'll be at the-
I'll also be.
Tyler will also
Yeah,
be
well-
there, so if you want to grab some fire crankbaits, yeah.
Tyler's crankbaits
Tyler
are going
up.
to be everywhere. I'll have some of Tyler's crankbaits. Tyler's going to have his crankbaits.
I'll have
It's
the-
like,
I'll have
it's like you're going to walk around the store and all you're going to see is UMA, and it's going to be like, all right.
I'll have some. I'll be selling some crankbaits there.
Yeah.
I'll be selling some crankbaits there, but they're going to be in the Tony price range.
Oh yes.
Oh,
yes.
God, yeah.
I will say at the shows I do offer. It's 15 across the board, so there's a little discount.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So there's a little discount, and I was trying to make it happen earlier, but maybe we could do a post for just a continuous Bass and Beer discount code.
Okay, Bass and Beer discount.
Yeah,
code.
and
I had so much fun with that when we did it the first
dude,
time.
nobody used it.
Nobody
Nobody.
used it? Not one single person?
No, dude.
I used it every Friday. I was
Nobody
like, yo,
used
check
it.
this out. Like,
Nobody used it, and
you guys are shit. You guys are shit.
Nobody
Okay,
used-
so first off, I'm not talking about Tyler's crankbaits because
Code
this
Chad
is a
sucks.
freaking good. Okay, so first off,
bro, stop.
you can eat a big fat dick, Martin. That's not true.
Tone it down.
No swearing.
Yeah, that's a little bit mean, isn't it?
Tone it down.
I didn't
Try
say
to
the
work on
F
it.
word.
It was bad. Tone it down.
I'm sorry, everybody.
It's late night.
I'm sorry, everybody, that I said
The kids are in
dick.
bed. So, MR Bass.
Some people
Greg,
are named Dick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Greg,
it's true.
what's the date for the MR Bass Flea Market?
It's February.
March.
No, March 3rd or 2nd is that first
Yeah,
Saturday.
it's some,
in the
I knew it
month.
was the first weekend of March. I just didn't feel like looking it up.
Yeah.
I think it's
figured
the
Greg could answer our
third.
question. Second.
Second.
We have a small corner booth.
I will have a table there. Tyler's gonna have a table there. Chad's gonna have a little corner booth there for Bass and Beer. So come out. There's always good deals to be had. All around there. I like to go set up on Friday so I can walk around and see what people have.
Yeah, I like that. Too. I like
Scott was. I messaged Scott about
One year,
trying to get a spot last week, and Scott was full, and he was nice enough to get back to me and say that we have one spot that might fit in the corner with a small table that you can go to if you want to. And I said, absolutely, I'll take it. So I'm excited to go there. I'm hoping, I haven't actually seen the spot yet, but I'm hoping there's a spot where I can at least like tape the thing to the wall, like back behind it, you know.
You want to hear a funny story about the MR Bass Flea Market?
Yes.
So me and Frank, he went down to help me set up my table and carry stuff in. Of course, because he knew he could get.
Yeah.
We spent over $500 before the flea market even opened.
That's crazy.
Oh man.
So there's some real juice up there.
So one year I bought two Mojo Bass rods.
Okay.
Two St. Croix Mojo Bass rods. Not the best. Not the best rod that St. Croix makes, but it's a decent rod.
Yeah.
I got two of them for $80.
Can't beat that, dude. The rod deals at these shows are crazy.
Yeah, I bought a St. Croix Avid 2 years ago for $5.
Yeah, that's insane.
I mean, it had like a busted guide. I took it to the late Mr. Tom Aworka, and he fixed the guides that needed to be fixed on it for like $20.
Yeah.
So like I was $25 into a St. Croix Avid.
Yeah. They're nice. Oh man.
Which is that's my soft plastics rod. So.
Jeez, man, I am like the worst at I spend more money on baits and line. Like I have junk reels and rods. I feel like
I spend an exorbitant amount of money online.
Yeah. Do you use Sunline?
No, I use Seagar.
Oh, Seagar.
Usually in VizX.
Dude, Seagar and VizX, a 660 spool of Seagar in VizX is the same price, if not more expensive than a 660 Sunline Sniper now.
Amazon.
What do you pick?
You can get so if you go like 12 pound, 1,000 yard spool of 12 pound on Amazon, it's like $80.
That's not bad.
It's cheap.
That is cheap.
Yeah.
That is cheap. I always get my stuff off Tackle Warehouse because it's like
Thanks, Greg.
one spot, but I gotta show you this website I found. We'll
post the flyer up on our Facebook page, for sure. But yeah, on Amazon, like you can get 1,000 yard spools of InvizX. Well, I think like 20 pounds, like $98. They're a 200 yard spool of InvizX, 20 pound is $30. It's $30 a spool. I mean that's $150 for to get 1,000 yards if you bought 200 yard spools.
There's a couple of guys on Facebook Marketplace that have a decent deal on the InvizX and some of the Seagar and the.
I've always liked Seagar better than Sunline.
Really?
Sunline.
Yeah, I do use the InvizX for cranking a lot because it does have more stretch to it.
InvizX is great.
I use InvizX for everything.
Really?
The only thing that I don't use it for is for flipping. Because when I'm throwing 20 pound line, I just use Red Label.
20 pound InvizX.
20 pound.
All of my swim bait combos for the glides.
20 pound Red Label. It's been on my swim bait rod for. I've had 20 pound. The same 20 pound Red Label on my swim bait rod for 3 years.
Yeah.
When you're throwing expensive baits in the water like that, you need to throw it on a line that you have full trust in and confidence.
Yeah. 20 pound Red Label. It's been on there for 3 years.
Martin, the Sunline is cheaper than Seagar right now. Well, at least the Sniper is on Tackle Warehouse.
Sniper's a good line.
I like the Sniper. The Crank FC I've used. I bought it once and I didn't. It's expensive, isn't it? It's like $25 for a spool of like 200.
Yeah.
I
actually think they're 150.
I'm a big line.
They might be. Actually,
the P-Line Tactical.
I've never used that. Is P-Line?
P-Line Tactical is pretty good line.
It's good.
Pretty good line. Yeah.
That's a pretty good line.
P-Line's good.
What do you fish for braid?
Sunline.
The
FX.
Sunline FX?
Dude,
yeah.
The braid, I love, on the spinning reels, I'll do that. And then I'll do I think it's SX on the spinning reels and then FX on the, frogging and flipping.
Yeah. So I would fish Seagar braid, but it's really expensive.
Yeah, the Smackdown. It's crazy.
I fish Suffix 832.
Okay.
That's what I fish on all my spinning reels. That's what I put on that's what's on my frog rod.
Yeah.
I have never moved away from the Power Pro, dude.
Actually,
I throw Power Pro braid a lot from the more abrasive shit to the slick. I like
Okay.
that slick Power Pro.
I have Power
there
Pro
is
on my frog rod
differences
right
in the
now
line.
because
Yeah.
SFT spooled it up for me because I didn't have any 60-pound braid at home. So I bought a Tattoo Elite from him for my frog my custom
Power
frog.
Pro.
And I walked back in. I was like, "Hey, Mike, can you spool this up for me? Like, whatever you got, 60-pound." And I have no complaints about it.
Yeah.
And it's the regular,
think-
it's the regular Power Pro, not the
Yeah.
not the super
Dude,
slick.
this-
the
They
regular
make
Power
the,
Pro.
dude, the super slick is nice.
I don't like tying a leader
There
to that.
is difference with the super slick.
I don't like tying a leader to that
Yeah.
because it's slip tubes.
Exactly.
It's in the name.
There is straight
It's-
up in the name. There is certain uses for the super slick. Like the super slick, I'm trying to I use the regular shit for like my frogs.
Yeah.
Anything I'm throwing in the grass, I use like the regular stuff. But like
832.
super slick,
all the time.
I'll use like a glide or something where
Okay.
or not a glide.
You have a different application for it.
maybe like a top water, something like that. Like I'll use a super slick for something that's like walking where you're not so much in the really thick grass.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
See, I go up and down, so I flip a lot with 40-pound braid. Just going on Greg's comment here, Greg said 50-pound for everything. So I
Yeah.
flip a lot with 40-pound braid. I started doing that a couple of
I
years
agree
ago.
with Greg's comment.
I frog with 60-pound.
Yep.
I throw a toad, like if I'm throwing a top toad, any kind of top water toad, I throw 50-pound. So I'm definitely all through the spectrum.
So
Greg,
I just-
if you break 40-pound, you're buying junk line.
I have straight up
I made
35 a lot.
I broke
actually.
I
I'm not
broke
gonna lie.
one I broke one fish flipping with 40-pound braid last year. I broke off one
35-pound test.
one
Yeah.
fish and I had not retied in like 3 trips. I was using the same hook, that I hadn't retied at all. in
I
3 trips.
personally
So,
can't
I'm-
stand braid.
I'm throwing
With the size on
65-pound
spinning
braid on my big swim baits. My big
I like-
wake baits, I'm throwing 65-pound braid.
I have found
When you're talking like frogs, I think 50 is definitely that happy medium right there. But there is other baits, like some of those walking baits and stuff like that. When you are trying to throw a walking bait, a floating bait in an area, obviously that has treble hooks, so there's grass, but there's not too much grass.
Yeah.
I will even go down to a 35-pound braid.
I usually throw
Because you're just not horsing them out of the grass as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
not me. I horsed one on a spook so hard this year on the flats that I snapped a St. Croix Legend tournament.
Jesus.
So it wasn't your line; it was your rod.
No, I'm just saying, like you're talking about you're not horsing them out.
Yeah.
No, I was horsing that thing out of the grass so hard I snapped
think-
my rod.
I think that I definitely think there are certain times where a 30-pound braid can be.
I don't have a
used.
problem
And also, after we had David Fritz come on the show a couple of weeks ago,
with him talking about cranking with braid.
with him talking about cranking with braid, I will have one combo with
See,
a 15-pound braid, 100% for my cranks.
Here's my issue.
Go
with
higher.
I'm gonna.
Here's
I'm gonna
my
try it.
issue.
You'll
with
need
that.
to go higher.
That
I'm thinking about the diameter.
You need to get like a 12-pound diameter.
But I still- I still want it
which
to
is
go-
a pretty heavy. It's like a 40-pound braid.
I want it to go down to the depth that it's still supposed to be
So
going to.
yeah, you're gonna want to throw it
Yeah.
on like a 40-pound braid.
here's my issue
40?
with that.
Yeah, because it has to do with the line dang.
Yeah.
See,
I
but
think
you need
that's
to
what
be
he-
thrown with a much softer rod at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the thing, dude. Like that information, I heard that like 10 years ago that he cranked with braid. And how come no one else does it?
So
How much money has
how much
how
money,
much
has David
money
Fritz
have
won on
I
crankbait?
won?
No,
and
I'm
stuff
not
like
saying
that, and how
that
much
he's
money is
lying
Fritz,
or that he's doing it wrong, but I'm just saying if
I
it
run
seems like there's more like personally, I don't like throwing braid on a bait caster besides a frog or I'm flipping. If I'm casting a swim jig, it's on fluoro because it casts easier.
Yeah.
So that's why I dropped it. So I throw a
Depends on
swim
the
jig on
memory
40
of
pound.
the fluoro that you're using.
So
though,
I dropped down to like 40-pound braid for
Yeah.
a swim jig because it casts better.
Yeah.
You know, when 30 to 40-pound braid casts, infinitely better than 50 or 60.
I couldn't sit there and throw a crankbait on
He's
braid
also
all day.
I didn't check the
Martin-
results today, but as of yesterday, David Fritz was in the top 10 on the
Yeah, he was.
NPFL.
He's killing it. Martin, what knot do you use for your leader knot? What knot do you like to use?
I will tell you that Martin only uses FG knot.
All right.
Okay.
My man.
So, straight
I
up.
like it.
Right on.
Until I break it about 5 times, then it's uni to uni. F it. F it, dude. I'm done
Dude,
after.
I was like,
if
I wasn't
retime
even going to argue the point, but the uni is my go-to every time.
I've gotten good enough with the FG with the way that I tie it. I can tie an FG knot in about
Does the
2.5
FG
minutes.
have a
Yeah.
Is the
But
FG
still,
a
dude,
3-tack
after
knot?
like 5,
I never break them. I never break them at the knot though.
No, me neither.
Like, I
But,
never
like,
break 'em at
if
the
my leader gets so short by the end of the day, and I'm just like, man, I really don't want to retie this again.
Bro, you know what? This is not a braid to mono type thing, but you know what knot I really like to use that I don't think that's an underlooked knot, but dude, this knot is one of the strongest knots in fishing. And I'm not saying it's the
knot?
knot. No, it's the Palomar.
Dude, fuck the Palomar.
Dude, the
I like the
Palomar is
Palomar.
a hammer knot.
I will say one thing that I
Is
found.
There's so many better
great
knots
knot.
out there.
I use the Palomar
What,
for
the San Diego Jam?
So you have the San Diego Jam, better not. The double uni, double line.
I tie double unis all the time. I would rather
No,
tie a Palomar than a double uni. Just straight bait.
The double line uni it's a different type of knot. I can show you how to tie it. That's the only knot that I tie anymore.
I like the modified, just a simple modified clinch knot.
Yeah.
Just that's
Or like like the trilene knot.
Yeah. But as soon as you go
See,
up,
Martin's right there. John, what's up, Johnny? Johnny Pipes in the house. What's up, brother?
yeah, but as soon as you get to a higher line diameter or a bigger line diameter, that trilene knot slips a lot, and you get that pigtail coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I'll use the Palomar.
Dude, the knots make a big difference, honestly.
See,
like, they really,
Martin
really do.
Martin
Like,
fishes the double line uni.
I use the uni. I use uni.
Not uni.
I use uni.
Look,
uni.
he
Not
said
uni,
it right
uni.
there.
Uni
Not
and Palomar.
uni.
The double
And then
so the
this
double
year I
line
will go to the San Diego Jam for my swim baits.
the double line uni is a I actually picked it up from. So I was having a problem with the Palomar when I'm fishing a jig, like I give them the business.
He gives them the
I
business, boy.
I give them the
Oh shit! I'm just knocking shit off.
I give them the business
Yeah, the
Have you broken
business,
a
like-
Palomar knot?
all the time.
On braid.
Not on braid.
Oh.
No,
yeah,
not on braid.
Yeah.
Only
I've
on fluoro.
broken the Palomar knot on fluoro,
Yeah, I've never done it on braid.
but as I researched the Palomar knot, I don't think I was tying it right,
No, jeez.
which is weird. It's a weird thought.
So if
to
you-
think, because the Palomar knot is so basic.
So that's
but
why
if
I
you
don't tie
have
the
that
Palomar knot.
line. If you don't have that line come through the same eyelet as the other line, you're not tying a true Palomar.
It's the Palomar knot. If you don't cinch it down correctly,
Yes.
it will break every time. And
In
That's
fluoro.
not true.
in
fluoro,
fluoro.
okay.
If you don't cinch it down correctly, it'll break every time when you set the hook.
Any knot that you don't cinch down correctly that has
But there are knots
line burn or line stretch is
So it-
going to break.
Martin, what are you doing back there? Oh,
you could have
tying
no
the knot?
line burn on it. It's the way that one of the wraps in the knot will lay over another, and if it lays over when you set the hook, that digs into the knot and breaks the knot. If you don't tie it, if you tie it correctly, it's a fantastic knot.
Yeah.
My problem is I don't want to have to pay attention to how I'm tying it.
Sure.
I can tie a double line uni knot on fluorocarbon literally every single time.
Yeah, I just do.
Well, I
the-
mean, if it's the same exact process that I go through, like, yeah, it's an easy knot to tie, but it's a time-consuming knot to tie.
So yeah, that's like I can a double line my
Especially
double line
if you're
uni
sitting there in
knot.
the
I can
wind and it's just flapping in the fucking wind when you're trying to freaking wind when you're trying to tie it. It makes it difficult.
Man,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't-
getting tired,
It does.
guys.
Yeah.
You guys are. I'm not built for this lifestyle. You guys are up late. I'm usually or like a part of epoxy.
He's getting ready to like nod out on the podcast right now.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
we have been going for a while, so it's probably about time to call it
Yeah,
for the night.
it is
so.
probably about time, but we were just getting into some straight
Yeah.
up juice. I was getting
I know,
fired
dude.
up.
I gotta maybe.
Tyler's got a long drive in the morning, or maybe tonight. Are you going to your mom's?
I'm going
Probably.
to
Right?
Middletown, Delaware today or tonight.
That's still a long drive.
I know it's like an hour still.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
Yeah.
and then I'm going to Laurel in the morning, so
Yep.
I'll probably be up, get a couple hours of sleep, have a couple beers
Yeah.
when I get there.
Dude, we absolutely 100%. I'm so glad that we have you in the studio tonight.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely amazing.
I had a blast, guys.
It was good to
One
see you.
thing that
I don't get to see you enough, man.
Dude, it is like one thing I would love to extend to you is our software. We can do video.
Okay, like a
conferences,
Zoom,
you know, dude.
like a Zoom call.
I would love to have you join on in
I will.
a Zoom conference anytime to come on, dude.
Excellent.
And like I said, like if you
Anytime.
ever want to drop, like if you need to drop new baits and you want to drop one,
go.
you're more than
Like,
welcome.
Like,
Just
dude,
let us know.
tonight was like, bro, you took me to a new level tonight. You were
Oh,
like,
dude,
you
I'm
were like,
glad.
I have some stuff to introduce tonight. I'm like, you didn't even tell me about it. I'm not even
Dude, this
prepared
thing
for
is-
this. Bro.
Well, dude, I was
This thing
trying to
is
see a
sweet.
way that I could keep stuff secret because I was gonna bring that helmet when Paul was telling
Just
about
wearing
the story.
just come in with a football helmet.
But yeah, man, and I'll maybe we can coordinate something where it's like
Let's do it.
I'll like list my drop on all my like pages and say
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm going to be on this page. Come
Yeah.
and watch this. So
Dude, we can
Yeah, we can
collaborate-
definitely work something out.
Collaborate
collaborate
is the
partnership
word,
all
yes.
the way through the thing.
let's
That would-
I actually on the live stream that I put up on Facebook, I listed you as a collaborator from UMA.
oh, nice.
So if you go on if you go on UMA's thingy on Facebook, one of the notifications might be a collaboration thing. So I don't
Okay.
know if I don't know what that does, to be honest with you,
I'll have to look.
but it
The
work together. Stop that.
Have you guys
You
done
stop
this
that.
yet
What?
on your page? Let me see. So if you go to the best some guide showed me this. So if you go here and then you do invite friends.
Yep.
You guys do that?
We have not. That
We
was
should,
one of
dude.
those trends that went
We-
on, and I
we
was
have.
like, I didn't.
You have.
Yeah.
We did. When I first started, I
You
did,
should.
but, like,
You can up like it'll update though. So
Yeah.
like if you, but this blew my mind when this guy told me this because he said that he's a guide, fishes on the Susquehanna,
Yep.
and he was saying that he would approach sponsors and say, "Hey, I'm interested. Let's work together. How many followers do you have? Oh, you don't have 10,000. We can't even talk
Right.
yet." Which isn't it's crazy,
Yeah.
but that's just how it is these days.
For sure.
So, but that was like mind blowing to me. So I just wanted to
Yeah, we
extend that.
dude,
yeah,
I
appreciate
think
any tips there.
Yeah.
Guys, definitely make sure go ahead and post that. I was ahead of you. Make sure you check out Tyler's website. He's got some great baits listed on there. Check him out at the local shows. He's going to be making the rounds for the next couple months.
it's a freaking good dude, man.
Yeah.
You can approach
Oh,
this
thanks,
guy
man.
anywhere and ask him any
Still-
question, and dude,
To this day, one
he's
of my
gonna give you the best answer to what he can give you. Like, he's just
As best as I can.
phenomenal guy. Like, so glad to have him on the
to,
podcast.
to this day
So
still
glad.
to this day still one of my favorite people that I've ever drawn
Oh,
a tournament.
thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
I had so much fun that day.
That was fun. That was fun.
Mostly
It's always
because I
fun
was
when you're catching
blasting
fish.
them on top water. It
We're
was
so
great.
glad you didn't die that day.
Well, me
Well,
too.
yeah.
Me too. You know, I was pretty excited as well to still be there.
I was equally excited.
Paul was excited for other
It's
reasons.
like,
He
oh, I
was
don't
like,
have
"Oh
a
my
murder
God,
charge
like,
on me. Like,
Like, is this manslaughter? Am I going to jail? We had such a great time that day, and just you wrecking him on a crankbait behind me, blasting him on top water.
It was fun.
It was
man.
fun.
It was a good
Ridiculous,
time.
dude, ridiculous.
My biggest takeaway from that was I love doing that.
Do you remember what I was throwing?
Well, you're throwing a buzzbait for a little bit.
Do you remember what topwater bait I was throwing?
It was
Oh,
some kind of
God.
walking.
First thing in the morning when on that high tide when you were catching them on the crankbait.
It wasn't just a generic spook.
No.
Vixen. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of the two.
Because I remember you looking at me
so
going,
right away.
and asking me, he was like, "Do you catch fish on that big thing?"
yeah. Well, I thought it was early for top water. I thought
Yeah.
myself, and
I mean, it wasn't that early.
it was.
It had to be at least May.
Yeah, I guess it was the first two because they canceled one, didn't they? Or
Yeah.
they canceled Potomac.
They canceled the earlier one. That's why
Yeah.
we had them both in the same weekend. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. It's never too early for topwater.
Are you fishing that? I know there's a real quick. This is my last thing.
No,
There's
you're
a-
all good.
there's
You
a
take as
solo-
long as you want to, bro.
There's a solo trail now for ABA.
So I was going to, but probably not this year.
Okay. I'm trying to pick some people's brains that are doing it and see if it would be.
There's a lot of interest in it.
Yeah.
A lot of people really, really think it's going to be a great trail.
That's interesting.
I know a lot of people. I think Frank's going to fish it.
Okay. I know
Personally,
Melvin puts all. Like,
Steve Myers.
Are they all? They're Bay and
JT.
Potomac?
Yeah, 2 on the Potomac, 2 on the Bay.
Okay.
JT, Duke Nave, he was kind of big into getting it.
Yeah.
Working with them to get it. He actually pretty much got them to change the schedule.
Okay.
Because they were all 4 on the Potomac.
Yeah, so I saw that originally. I was like,
So,
that's kind of weird.
He really went to bat for everybody to get them to put 2 on to change the schedule to 2 on the Upper Bay.
Mm-hmm.
But like Harry Nurk, all of those guys I'm pretty sure are fishing it.
Oh, cool.
I think it's gonna be a pretty good trail.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I might gauge it after year 1 and see how it does.
I just want to make sure that I don't like overextend myself.
Sure. Sure.
I'm fishing. Even if I didn't fish that, I'm gonna be fishing so much stuff. I might jump into the one or two, the ones on the upper bay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But probably not fishing the whole trail.
What else is in there? Did you guys get?
It just costs a lot of money to go down to the Potomac, and
Yeah.
you got to
Well,
stay.
dude,
you got
now
to stay
that-
there and pre-fish.
Now the park opened back up. You should be able to stay on the because they shut it down last year. $60 a night for one of those little cabins.
Usually, if I go down, it's not so much the room, because me and Frank usually split a room down there. So that's $50 a night or so, and we it's the driving down there.
Yeah, it's a process.
The pre-fishing, because I fish up here all the time. I don't have to pre-fish for the Upper Bay because I'm on the Upper Bay all the time anyway.
That's true.
Tyler's passing us out lures, and you guys should be jealous as shit right now.
So
you guys should be going to UMALureCo.com and ordering some of these things, because I'm gonna beat you in the Thursday night threefers with this freaking bait right here. Straight up, I'm telling you right now.
yeah, it gets too expensive with having to go down there, pre-fish, fuel expenses, and stuff like that. It ends up it's a $350 entry fee on top for the solo search, $300 or $350.
That's
Little
a lot.
John's back.
And then it's on top of that, I'm paying $50 for a room, and I got to pay for food, and I'm burning.
Oh yeah.
I'm probably burning $200 in gas if I go down there.
We'll get a couple campsites next to each other. We'll do hot dogs one night.
I'm down.
I might be able to be
that would
talked
be
into it.
great.
But on the other hand, I want to fish the SQTs too.
Yeah.
So it's like I gotta pick one, and the SQTs are a little more economical, even though I'd have to go to the Pocomoke if I qualify for the state championship.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of excited for that. I've never been down there.
I want to fish it, but I also don't want to go down there and fish a qualifying tournament, never fishing it before. So now that means, okay, so if I fish SQTs now, if I'm going to, if I have a chance of making it in the last tournament.
Dude, I'm sorry, this kid geeks me out on the freaking thing, bro.
He's 14.
He's like 13 or 14, dude. He's one of my good friend's sons.
That's funny.
And bro comes on here just talking about hooking up with girls and stuff.
I
I'm like,
love
let's
how-
go, dude.
I
like
like how he described big haul tonight. Big haul. We got
big
two
haul
numbers.
tonight, bro.
Well,
He's
and
like,
not- and not
I
o'clock
ordered
he said
some
he was gonna-
UMA crankbaits and I got 2 biatches up in here.
At 9 o'clock, he said he was going to Loonies.
Yeah,
I
9
don't
o'clock
think
he
that
said he
happened.
was going to Loonies earlier. He's going to go pick
Which
up
is a
some
bar.
girls at the Loonies, bro.
No, it's funny.
Loonies in Bel Air, the bar.
Yeah, so with the Pocomoke, that means if I have a chance going into the last tournament, well, okay, that means I'm gonna have to make a trip down there.
Sure.
Because I just even if it's just to go down there and drive around and get familiar with the water. So that I'm thinking that's just more money than I want to spend.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm already fishing. I got my club stuff. 8 club tournaments, 5 TBF tournaments, maybe 6 TBF tournaments if I make the semifinals. Thursday nighters, probably fishing. I'll probably end up fishing most of the Conowingo Opens. So
You got a packed schedule already.
It's similar. If I wasn't, and I wouldn't fish the TBF if I wasn't tournament director. because I don't like fishing as a co-angler.
Just wait until we introduce the Bass and Beer series next year.
I know,
right?
Be cool. That'll be cool.
It's going to be a $10,000 entry fee.
And it's only 50% payout too, guys.
50%,
So just remember that.
50% payback.
No. Could you imagine, dude?
There's gonna
what
be-
if you did like a $200 or $300 buy-in at the end of the year? It was like a freaking $8,000 paycheck for like 10 tournaments. Ooh.
Yeah, 50% payback on your $10,000
Yeah.
entry fee.
Rest
No,
goes to
I
Bass
said
and
like
Beer.
$8,000 like as a total.
No, that all goes to Bass and Beer. That other 50%.
There'll be like 5 boats
We're
in
a
the tournament.
you
get your money back for winning.
organization. I'm trying to figure it out how I can have money come in, and then literally I just want to loop it right back into Bass and Beer Radio.
Yeah.
I'm not here to put money in my pocket.
No,
I don't want
yeah.
anything to do with that. Any money that I make, I want to loop it right back into Bass and Beer Radio to just make things more entertaining, to bring more baits to more people.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I care about. It
Do some
is
great
not about
giveaways,
it is
giveaway-
not about a profit.
Being able to
Believe me.
give away, do some good giveaways and
Yeah.
It is going to take a lot of money to recoup what I have put into this.
Oh, I
what
hear
I
you,
have put
brother.
into this show.
I hear you.
We're looking at $3,000 or $4,000 worth of equipment just to come off what I am coming to you guys. It doesn't matter.
That's-
This is fun,
that's-
and that's all that matters.
That's yours, Paul. No, I'm just kidding.
that can stay
He's
right
like,
there.
that will go in the fire. That will go in the fire.
So wait a minute, the Hunchback
Yeah,
of
this is-
Notre
this
Dame,
is
you're
for
giving
you.
it to me?
Or Paul.
Stop it! No.
Yeah, I'll
no.
take
no,
the Hunchback.
No.
That's my favorite color. That is definitely coming with me.
It's now my favorite color.
You don't even know what
Let me
color
get
that
the
is.
Hunchback real quick.
I know what color it is. It's the middle ripe tomato.
You get this. That's a Tyler exclusive right there.
A one of one.
One of one.
One
That's-
of one.
Do you know how much
Hold on,
money
bro.
that's going to be
if
worth?
I had that, dude, I would put that Hunchback in a frame. I wouldn't even
Oh,
throw
man.
it, dude.
That rest is all you guys, I think.
This one
Got
first.
this,
And then your
this one, and this one.
I'll take this guy.
Okay.
Do you have any pudges?
I have one.
Here, take this one.
All right.
Paul doesn't scoffs at this.
I
one.
like this color a lot. We're gonna put that back over here.
No.
Okay, hold up. How about I do a fair trade with you,
Oh, here's another one.
and we do
No,
this
that
one?
Oh yeah. I'll take that.
We do a fair trade of this one with this jig that Tyler's leaving, and we'll put that over here.
First of all, he left you a jig also.
Yeah, you got a jig.
Okay. This
So I'll trade you that jig
I
for
thought
this
this was the
crankbait.
one with the hook cut off of it.
No, I took that one back.
So I'll trade you that jig for this crankbait.
But hey, I will tell you what. If you like that
No,
jig,
that
you can have
crankbait is.
if you do like that jig, I can get them for $250.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's cheap.
yeah, and it's it's a $10 jig.
Did you guys hear that? You're not available to any of it.
That's a Bass and Beer
That's a
exclusive.
Bass Beer.
This is a Bass and Beer accessory. But hey, we appreciate all you guys for tuning in tonight and joining in with us. Mr. Tyler Hawthorn in the house with UMA Lure Company. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
coming
guys.
on, brother.
Thank
Appreciate
I
it,
appreciate you more than anything.
Always a pleasure.
Yes,
Always
sir.
a pleasure.
Tyler has been a sponsor and somebody who has supported us from day one, and we can't thank him enough. He literally, like, straight up, I couldn't even believe it. I started Bass and Beer Radio, and almost right away, I had one of the most fire balsa wood crankbait companies on the market supporting me, and it was just insane. And now I'm here. and
Little
we're-
did we know how good they actually were.
Little-
I'll say this: when we first started collaborating, we were both low level, and we both grown, and I think that we can continue to grow together.
keep
so
on
that's
growing
cool. I'm
together.
excited.
Well, you know what's
Love it.
funny?
Love it,
I
brother.
saw. This is a random UMA, like kind of like shout out on one of the old collectible war groups that I'm on
Okay.
Facebook. This guy posts up a bunch of balsa crankbaits. He's like, hey, check out some of these crankbaits I got.
Yeah,
There was a UMA pudge.
was there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I was like,
is
dude,
awesome.
it was like, that is the best square bill you'll ever. It was a little pudge. I was like,
Yeah.
that's the best square bill you'll
We've
ever.
That's
done,
awesome.
we've done everything we can to take your baits and put them in the hands of some of the best
I appreciate it, dude.
fishermen in the
That's
market. Dude. I mean,
Yeah, I just think
I'm not to say anything, but like David Fritz will have some
That's
of your
cool.
crankbaits, dude.
That is pretty cool.
David Fritz will have your crankbaits, bro.
That is cool.
Yeah,
Isn't that cool as shit, dude?
Yeah.
I thought it was
like,
really
right
cool
away. The
like
first thing I
randomly
said,
seeing your baits out
Yeah,
there. You know, that's super
when
cool.
Rob hit us up and he was like, "Bro, David Fritz wants to come on." The first thing I said, I was like,
Dude, you guys plugged the crap
we
out of it.
will
and I
send
love it.
Tyler's
Yeah.
baits to David Fritz. Like there is no question about
I liked it. You
I will
guys
give
are
up
sweet.
every crankbait in my box to get send your bait out to him. Like you deserve it.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you again for having me on, and to all the viewers that stuck around this long, thank you.
Thank you guys.
And,
we appreciate you.
Check out his website, John.
Yeah, we're gonna get you guys a code, a consistent code it'll never end. So but maybe we'll do it to where you have to view the show. It'll change every other week.
Right.
Hey, this week it's blah blah blah.
Bass
you
and
gotta
Beer
watch.
Radio code 24 code like
Yeah,
something
exactly.
something
We'll do.
different like
Yeah,
that.
we'll do. We'll
Some
figure something out.
viewership code where
We really like the number 69.
this is episode 69.
It's been episode 69 for about 100 episodes.
It's been episode 69 for a year and a half now.
We got to 69 and just stopped there.
That's funny. Martin, yeah, come and see me if you're at the MR Bass one, bud.
Hell
I love
yeah,
talking
boy.
to you.
Man, we appreciate all you guys so much, and we will be bringing you guys some more content.
Look forward to a boat walkthrough coming up too. Me and Chad are
boat
gonna try
walkthrough.
to do a boat walkthrough.
I don't know if this is this is juice that we have dropped yet. I'm not going to name any names.
Martin Payne with the fire comments as always.
Yes.
Hold up.
Gosh,
hold up.
Martin's such a funny dude.
Can that be a comment?
Dude,
Can there be one of them?
You can make that whatever
Dude,
you
it's
want.
just like that one right there. I want that one for the UMA. That is.
So anyway, now that Martin's ruined it, we're gonna call it a night. Look forward. We're gonna try to shoot a boat walkthrough later this week sometime. Me and Chad are gonna we'll work that out. You're off next Friday.
Oh yeah.
I'm off next Friday too. So
Anytime after work during the week, I'll come over to the house. Whatever you want to do.
let's just do it next Friday. I'm off work next Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna shoot a boat walkthrough for the new boat. I know a couple people were asking to see the new boat, so we'll do a little boat
Chad
walkthrough.
69 Tony. I'm still dying right now.
And on that note, have a good night, everyone.
Peace out, everybody.
out.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next week.
UMALureCode.com. Let's
Special
go.
guest next week.
That was fun.
Oh my goodness gracious, boys.
That was
That was
epic.
awesome.
That